Oh, it's Chris Avalon Unfiltered, bitch.
Hey, what's up, everybody? What's going on? It's your boy, Chris Avalon, and welcome to a brand new episode of Chris Avalon Unfiltered, a show where we get into all things going on in celebrity news, gossip, all things going on in entertainment. We even get a little political, which we are going to today, hence what's going on in America right now. So, before we get to our topics, can you please do me a solid if you have not already? Hit that like button and that subscribe button. Also, smash the notification button so that way you know when we go live with a brand new episode of Chris Avalon Unfiltered. And so, yeah, we're gonna get into the election. That mess that went on last night. I know, child, the red wave that came over America yesterday. I know everybody gagged, especially the Democrats. So we're gonna get into that. Plus, we're gonna talk about what Azealia brings asserted herself in a situation. Because remember yesterday when we said that she was gonna vote for Kamala Harris. Well, apparently she said she lied. She went and pulled herself a Caitlyn Jenner and took a screenshot of her results and posted it on social media, which I could have sworn that that's against the rule. Like, you're not supposed to do that, but whatever. People just do whatever the hell they want these days. And then we'll also talk about RuPaul's Drag Race Queens reacting to the U.S. presidential election victory. We're also going to talk about the Grammys. They've made a new rule or something or another with their after parties. And child, I got to fork over some coins to get up in them little celebrations and things. So we got to talk about that. Plus the Michael Jackson biopic. We got some bad news in regards of that. We're going to talk about Travis Kelce, who is addressing what his brother Jason had endured, the whole F word situation. So we're going to talk about that. Plus, there's a couple of leftovers from yesterday's show because y'all know I had to run out here and vote. So I had to cut the show short when, I was like, you know what? I should have did an early ballot situation. But anyway, so we got to talk about James Van Der Beek and his whole cancer diagnosis and how he was forced to come out before he was ready due to the tabloids about to spill his tea. We're going to talk about Kanye West allegedly pitching a reality show. We're going to talk about Teresa Giudice finally revealing why she no longer speaks to her brother Joe. We got to talk about Adam Lambert and, his 60-pound weight loss and what he actually used, and it wasn't the gym chair, to shed all that weight. And then we got to talk about Barry Keoghan and that infamous scene from Saltburn. And I just saw, I don't know how I missed it, but I just saw that Sophie Ellis Bextor posted her video. I think it came out a couple of days ago, but I must have missed it because I'm not subscribed. But I had to go and subscribe, so now I'm going to watch the video later after the show. And we got some good news regarding Charlie XCX and Troye Sivan's Sweat Tour. Child, they made some coins. And people gagged because I think a lot of people were surprised that tour wasn't going to be successful, but it was. And so we're going to break it down and we're going to talk about it and all that good stuff. So before we get to the topics, like I stated earlier, if you can, please hit that like button and that subscribe button. Also, smash that notification button so that way you know when we go live with a brand new episode of Chris Avalon Unfiltered. Please and thank you. So I have what's everybody saying? So hey, Onyx, how you doing? He said the fact that Kamala didn't win a single swing state is crazy to me and embarrassing. It damn sure was. It was embarrassing for the Democrats yesterday, and I really hope when I get into my little, from the gut speech, because I ain't writing nothing down. Like my name is Cardi. I'm not gonna pull up a phone and read. It's a gentle read, but yeah, it's like how you did not win a single swing state, which goes to show how out of touch the Democrats have been for a long time, and that has been grievances from people I know who are Green Party voters and things of that nature. And so I'm shocked, but not. But then again, once I took a breath, I was like, not surprised. But it is shocking that y'all didn't win one swing state. It just goes to show that. Well, we'll get into it in a second. Felix says, I feel like we got sent to an alternate. Yeah, it definitely felt like a what if episode over on Disney Plus. Like everything feels surreal right now still. And I know it's still early. It's only been a couple of hours. So it really is a beautiful day. It is literally, what is it? 76 degrees in New York. You said that was like, first of all, I never lived on no damn Mother Gaston. You tried it. I lived on Amboy Street between Pickett and East New York, the hood. So you said singer Nikki Heston accused Conway. Oh, did they? I may have to look into that because and you said attended rape and drugging. Well, I'm gonna have to look into that once the show is over and then probably put that up for the next show. Because I found some topics to put together. I took some topics that I didn't do yesterday. And then, of course, the main topic is going to be obviously the election results. So that's going to be pretty much the dominating part of today's show, because I know everybody's going to want to step in and give their opinions. And yes, the floor is open where y'all can come in and give your opinions on it and stuff. That's why we do this show. Good, bad, and indifferent. Oh, you said, "Oh, hey Cheryl, how you doing? It's been a minute since you've been on here." And they said, "I had a feeling Trump was gonna win. That's why I asked who y'all thought would honestly win." Oh, well, you should have said that yesterday, but I guess you didn't want to jinx yourself. You was, I had a strong feeling. Um, you know what? In my gut of guts, I did feel like something strange was in the air, but I was in denial mode, so I didn't like fully take it in. But child, when I woke up this morning and I was on social media and I was like, I avoided my phone like the plague. Like yesterday, literally, I was texting back and forth. I was in my little group chat with my political friends and those other stuff, going back and forth with the thing. And we were sitting there, everybody was like, "Oh, relax, 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 calm down," all this other stuff. So I'm like, yeah, so I wasn't that stressed out because it was like 8 o'clock, everything was good. Child, once 10 o'clock hit, I was like, okay, I got to turn this damn TV off. I got to go off MSN. I went over to MSNBC. I went over on um, I was on ABC at first because David Muir was on there. Y'all already know how I feel about David Muir, so that's why I was over there. Then I was like, okay, y'all depressing me. Let me go to MSNBC. Child, it was the same damn thing. I was like, I can't escape it. Then so I was like, messaging a lot of people, and we were going back and forth and talking about it. And I was like, okay, I just need to get this dystopian vibe, Asian vibe, doom and gloom out of my head. So I turned everything off. And you know what kept me cheered up? Paul's Drag Race. But the funny part is, it was the season with the Vixen, and when they brought back when they had Aquarian on there and all of them, and Miss Cracker and Monet Exchange, all of them. That was the season that Trump was president. So that should have told me something. I'm like, damn. I was sitting there watching the season when he was president the first time. So I hope it don't affect Drag Race, going forward and all those other shows. Well, we are going to get into some tea later on regarding how the drag world, how the LGBT. I did see one with Trinity Tuck said, she said, unfriend me if you voted for him because of the racism, the homophobia, the misogyny. I do think that's a lot of surface stuff, but I do think that we have to look at the bigger picture and why the Democrats lost. And we'll get into that in a second. You said Nikki Heaton. Who is that? I'll have to look into that person. Kanye West is hiding out in Japan to avoid being brought in by the feds. There seem to be a lot of people hiding out places. Look, Garth Brooks told me he moving to Ireland, allegedly for SA and somebody. The gays for Trump, shell. Don't even get me started with them closet, them dumb homosexuals. Devin Franco came out as a Trump supporter. Arad Win came out as a Trump supporter. There's a lot of porn stars that came out as Trump supporters, and you know what? You can put them way up back there. And I would not be surprised if Austin Wolf ass wasn't locked up. He'd probably be a Trump supporter too. And you said the Gen Z silent vote. Oh, they was voting because them one note assholes up in here. Oh, Palestine, Palestine. Okay, and you think that it's gonna be better? Like Netanyahu is happy that Trump is president. So if y'all thinking that things are gonna get better under his rule, then I got a couple of shares in Boca to sell you. And I don't even work in real estate. So they said, does that mean Trump's convicts get overturned? It was wondering. I think that maybe that is a good question. I feel like there's a lot of questions that are gonna have to get answered within the next couple of days, where people need to figure out um what's gonna happen with all that, because I know it's still fresh. Like it's only been less than 24 hours. So I just feel like I know everybody's got a sense of uncertainty and stress and all this other stuff. Um, you said, of course they did, because they didn't want to be embarrassed. That's why it's funny how, like, you know what? And there's no shade, but I actually got to give applause to the Trump supporters, the ones that showed up at the Garden, because at least they had the balls to show up in there in they full gear, being who they are. Even though when they came in the MSG and they would come up to me and they would be like, "Oh, thank you for working the event," or whatever, because it's like they know how they're received in the outside world, but they feel like in this little silo that they are appreciated, they are loved, they are welcome, regardless of how you feel politically and all that other stuff. So I agree. So I'm with people, and I've always said this: I'd rather you show me who you are to my face than pull some shit behind my back. Because I don't trust people that just be like, "Oh yeah, I like you," and then the minute I leave the room, you got a whole lot of shit to say about me. Stand on business. I'd rather people just tell me who I am, show me who they are and they in my face. And I think that's why people like Trump. And you know what? I feel like a lot of people think that with him winning, he is a representation of where we are in this country today. And he is the representation of the United States. I feel like a lot of people voted for him because even though, whatever how you feel about the economy and the price, a lot of people still feel that under his administration, he kept the economy was good. But you have to realize y'all was already halfway in Obama's administration. So y'all don't realize like what people do from the prior administration, it trickles down into the next administration. You don't feel it until then. So when 2 years into Trump's administration, you're gonna feel what Biden and Kamala and everybody in that party was working at. I think what hurt Kamala is the fact that, and shout out to Mehdi Hassan for this, because he broke it down over um on his Atio pod. I mean, what was his newsletter actually? I feel like when Kamala got out there, she should have distanced herself from him because if you're trying to run an administration, you don't want to do the exact same thing that he did that people are pissed off about. As far as like the middle class goes, I don't even feel like we have a middle class. I feel like when I was growing up, there was a middle class, but now people are struggling. There's a lot of homeless people. If you go to New York, I'm walking down Manhattan and I'm seeing people laid out in broad daylight with their jackets over their heads sleeping, and it's okay. Why aren't these homeless people being put in homes? But then you're looking at it as like, and the whole mass deportation thing, which is going to come in January. I mean, I don't know when, but it's coming in 2025. So y'all need to buckle up. And I feel like also when you have this message where it's like, yeah, our borders are open, and then you have these immigrants coming in. I understand for a better way of life and all this other stuff. That's great. I want everybody to have a better way of life. But when you sitting there focusing more on them people in them countries getting a better way of life and homes and they able to do all this other stuff, but we struggling over here, and that's how Americans feel. They feel like, well, fuck my drag. What about me? Why are these people getting a leg up? Why is everybody else getting the red carpet rolled out for them? And I'm not saying this right away, but the way that the Democrats have handled certain things, even if the Republicans put it in place, because they're horrible at messaging, which is also why Trump won. He's a better messenger. And he also had a secret weapon. Let's bring up Barron, 18-year-old Barron. That was his secret weapon. That kid who's 18 years old got his father to go on the Joe Rogan podcast, got him to go on Logan Paul's show, got him to go on all these podcasts to reach out to a certain demographic, the bro demographic. I have a lot of friends who are bros. So I know basically those types. I have friends who listen to Joe Rogan, close friends. Yeah, they're not Trump supporters or whatever, but they listen to the Joe Rogan podcast. They listen to Logan Paul. They like the WWE. They love the UFC. I did UFC and stuff too, so I understand all of that. So even if you're not even speaking politics to these people, he's speaking to an audience that feels disenfranchised, that feels ignored. And we also not going to ignore the fact that yes, misogyny and racism did play into this. Of course it does, especially when you live in a country where women are always supposed to be behind the man. Women are supposed to be, we're supposed to be, the big alpha, whatever. Even if the type of alpha male isms that Trump was putting forth was a bunch of smoke and mirrors and bullshit, because I don't get no man's man from him at all. But he knew how to sell it, and that's what worked in his favor. But because I was like, I had his newsletter. That was like some of the stuff I just had off the top of my head because I know I had stuff planned, but I was like, you know what, stuff happens the way it happens. So what? So when I went over to I did go over. So he said his 7 takeaways. I'm talking about Mehdi Hassan. His 7 takeaways from Donald Trump's shocking victory. He said it happened. Trump won. Wait, hold on. Let me open this, close it out, and then open it back up because for some reason it was like small. He said, in a shocking turn of events, Donald J. Trump, the disgraced ex president and convicted criminal, will be returning to the Oval Office in a few weeks, flanked by Elon Musk and Robert F. Kennedy Jr., among others. We had been told it was a close race. We had been told the momentum was with Kamala Harris. We had been told that we might have to wait several days for a result. But no, Trump not only won, he won big and he won first. He won fast. So here are my top 7 Insta takeaways from a historic election night. Because I feel like a lot of what he said to me was literally spot on. I was like, you know what? Let me go over to, because for some reason it's just so small on the way my phone is. I don't know if it was my fault or whatever the case is, but I said, let me just pull it up on my computer and just read it from there. So he basically said, Trump is Teflon. Why you think they call him Teflon Don? Because I feel like at the end of the day, no matter what that man does, his male white privilege, he gets away with murder. And I feel like that is a shining beacon on the top of the hill for a lot of white people, particularly white men. And it's a beacon of hope for a lot of people who want to be in a position of a Donald Trump and will never get there. But I guess it's good to aspire. The coloreds, the Asians, the Latinos who voted big for him. Mostly it was a lot of white people, 50%. And they said white men and white women voted for him. So a lot of those that said, oh, no, I'm not going to vote for him, they went and voted. Y'all voted against abortion, or you voted against, your female reproductive rights. You voted against a whole bunch of other policies. And I'm like, that just doesn't make sense. But look, I'm not a woman. I don't have a uterus. I'm staying my ass out of women's business. So for those of y'all, I feel for women, I have empathy. But for those of you that voted against your own interests, I don't want to hear it. So basically said that he was impeached twice, the second time for inciting an armed insurrection with that almost got his own vice president unalived. He was charged with 88 criminal offenses in 4 different jurisdictions and convicted of 34 of them. A jury of his peers also found him liable for SA in a civil case in Manhattan, plus a tape recording of Jeffrey Epstein emerged just days before the election in which the infamous pedophile referred to himself as Trump's closest friend. And we talked a bit about that on yesterday's show. We talked a bit about how he came out and said some stuff in regards of, some stuff about, there's some stuff about Jeffrey Epstein and Donald Trump. And then, of course, there was the Princess Di information that came out with that as well. But they had a contest of how many women they could bed. And they said, and yet Trump triumphed on Tuesday. Unlike in 2016, he's also on track to win the popular vote, the first Republican to do so since 2004. Was that when Obama was president? Wait, they said the Republican to do so since 2004. So I wonder who was president in 2004. Was it? No, it couldn't have been. No, it wasn't. What the hell's his name? It wasn't George W. Bush, because George W. Bush was president around 9/11. So, but I don't know. I have to check into that. Because, we've had so many presidents since since then, I can't keep up with who was what and what time. And they also said it wasn't the genocide. That's number 2. Yes, it's tempting to say that Harris' defeat was a consequence of Gaza and her shameful refusal to budge on U.S. support for Benjamin Netanyahu. And yes, Michigan may have swung against the Democrats because large numbers of Arab Americans and Muslim Americans saw the genocide in Gaza as a red line. Trump even won Dearborn. But Trump's victory over Harris goes way, way beyond Michigan and Muslim Americans. It's something much bigger and much broader. As I write this, the former president is on course to win every single swing state, and that's what Onyx alluded to in the beginning of the show. How the hell did he win every single swing state? She won not one, which goes to show that Democrats, y'all been sitting down when y'all talk about when what the hell's his name? When Trump came out and called Biden Sleepy Joe, I feel like he need to call the Democrats Sleepy Joe. I mean, y'all are just the sleepy ass Democrats because y'all been asleep at the wheel for far too long. And it's weird because I had a conversation with an industry friend of mine, and she said that, you know what, I almost want to see the Democrats lose just so that way they can wake up and realize that they have not been on the same page with the American people for a long time. And I guess this is them now. Now, y'all can sit up here and talk and just submit defeat and sit on your hands and keep your head down and all depressed. Or you can get that, take somebody, have somebody literally light a match under your asses, and y'all do what y'all can do to change the way the Democrats run. I also think at this point, maybe what needs to happen with the Democrats is that y'all need to look at yourselves in the mirror and realize, I mean, try to figure out what kind of party y'all are. Y'all need to lick your wounds a little bit, take a breath, admit, we've been defeated, but though, we lost the battle, we didn't win the war, I guess I should say. But you need to figure out also, how do we reshape this party? Because when y'all started talking about bringing Republicans into the Democrat side, this is why friends of mine who are Green Party voters look at the Democrats as blue MAGA, or they look at it as Democrats are leaning more on the old Reaganomic side of Republicanism than they are at being Democrats. So when you got Liz Cheney and all these other Republicans coming over to y'all side because y'all don't like what the new Republican Party has become, then what is the Democrats? What is your overall aesthetic? Who are you as a party? And I think these are the genuine questions that a lot of people have. And these are questions y'all gonna have to look in the mirror and ask yourselves before y'all can even move on to, the next election, which is in what, 2028? So now we got 4 years of him and his bullshit. But to me, I'm not really afraid of Trump. I look at him as the Trojan horse. I'm more or less concerned about the people he's putting in his cabinet, the JD Vances, who's a part of that, and Project 2025 and all that mess. And how there's people out here who think they won't be affected by it. I saw one friend of mine on his Facebook. He wrote something about, everybody just needs to, it's not over. Like we've been through crazy stuff like this before. I don't feel like not like this, because it does feel a lot different than when 2016 versus 2024 going into 2025. And so there was a Latino male in my friend's comments talking about, oh, I'm not going to be affected because I'm going to have on my red hat. There's people out here that are you coloreds, who literally think that y'all going to be protected, and then it's not going to affect you because, oh yeah, I'm going to just walk around with my MAGA hat or my MAGA t-shirt like it's a Rangers jersey, and I'm going to be protected. This is going to be my shield. So nobody's going to mess with me. And it's like, what makes y'all think that there's people still out with this pick-me mentality where y'all think that just because you are married to someone who is white, that you align with the beliefs of, bigots, racists, whatever you want to call them, that you're not going to be affected by what the outcome of what's to come. Do y'all not own a mirror? So they also said, so when they said that, in regards of he won every swing state. So yeah, he's on course to win every swing state, both in the Rust Belt and the Sun Belt. He won Texas by a bigger margin this time around than he did in 2016. He narrowed the Democrats' margins in historically blue New York and New Jersey. Oh, yeah, because I heard 2 million people voted for him in New York. I don't know why I'm surprised. It's probably from Long Island, Staten Island, and I wouldn't even go and just throw it off on them. Upstate, Long Island, Staten Island. I'm sure there was some in the city that voted for him too. So he also made massive, perhaps consequential inroads with Latino voters who, of course, likely didn't pick him over Harris because of Gaza. Now, on the topic of genocide, by the way, you'll never guess which world leader was the first on social media to congratulate Trump on his victory, and he prays on him. This is why I said, now, for those of y'all who's out here, you one-note voters who think that, oh, well, genocide, all this other stuff, free Palestine, you really think it's going to be different under him? Because Netanyahu speed dialed his ass to congratulate him on his win. So y'all can buckle up, Buttercup, because there's a lot more bombs about to be dropped on a lot of Palestinians and a lot of not a lot of Arabs. I won't say Arab or Arab Americans, because they're going to be over here. Now, they also said that number 3, Kamala Harris screwed up. Now, voters did not want Joe Biden. They made that clear in the poll after poll after poll. And that is true. But the fact of the matter is that they reacted too late because, like I said, the Democrats have been asleep for far too long. They have not been paying attention to people, the people, us, John Q. Public. But the only time y'all got the message that, oh shit, and I knew that that's when they got the message because I felt it in my gut, was the first TV debate where Trump clearly beat him. But that's not by saying much. You got 2 bumbling idiots on stage, old ass men, rambling on about a bunch of nothing. What do you expect? Of course Trump's going to win from luck. Because when he actually went against someone who could actually debate and someone who was smart, like Kamala Harris, we saw the difference between those two. So him going up against Biden, that was just like, okay, you basically won by default. But yeah, that was when they messed up. Y'all should have just been, Biden should have just been a one-term president. And while he was running his 4 years, y'all should have been trying to figure out as a democracy, the Democrats, who do we have as this next person that we want to make the representation or the face of the Democratic Party? What is the future of the Democratic Party look like? So y'all didn't do that because y'all just thought, oh yeah, Biden's gonna do his 8 years. I don't know why people think in politics that you are just automatically gonna be given an 8-year presidential run. There's no guarantees in anything, especially in politics. So I don't know why they thought, oh, we're just Biden gonna win another 4 years. Oh yeah, because he beat Trump again before he beat Trump again. But you do know, year by year by year, things are changing within those 365 days within that year. So what you thought was going to happen 4 years prior don't necessarily mean that everybody just stays stagnant 4 years later. You need to be paying attention to how people's grievances and all of that stuff. So yeah, they also said that after Nancy Pelosi basically shivved him. So yeah, after Nancy Pelosi basically did what she did, kind of like just was like, oh no, Molly, you in danger, girl. Like when she had that moment, and then there was the debate and all that other stuff. That's when they woke the hell up. But what hurt Kamala, she decided to run her campaign with the same BS with Biden. So it kind of just looked like you didn't even have a clear plan of what you wanted to do as a politician. You were just going to be the face and continue to carry out the work that Biden had already set forth. Who are you and how are you different than what he does? And I feel like the Democrats, that also hurt them because with Biden and his male white ego, you barely saw Kamala out there doing anything. So people didn't really know her. So it's like, oh no, we got 3 months to try to get America to get to know this woman. And then you see the people on the View was like, oh yeah, we know her. We've been to dinner, and so okay, that's great. Y'all hobnob with the elites and the HBCU types and all these other legal eagles or whatever. Y'all play in Martha's Vineyard and y'all play in these places. The rest of the American people do not. So it feels very much elitist. It feels very much standoffish. It feels like y'all have the door closed and people can't relate. And I'm not saying that Republicans is no different because how you infiltrating what they doing over there? But for some reason, they were able to infiltrate people and get the message out better, even though when you look at them, it's like, okay, y'all a bunch of damn elitists, y'all a bunch of millionaires and billionaires, where it's just like, a lot of these regular people that relate to Trump and I don't know how y'all relate to him. Y'all not getting in them rooms with them. Y'all not going to be able to rub shoulders and hobnob and stuff with them. They wouldn't spit on you if he was on fire, but that's what they voted on. And they voted, I believe, out of frustration because they feel like regardless of how they act, they can't get a leg up. And then also, she didn't even like create her own campaign team. She inherited Biden's campaign team and then refused to break away from the Bidenism, the Bidenomics, not just on Gaza, but pretty much every major issue. Like she went on The View, and I think that's where she fucked up when she went on there with them ladies. And I love The View, but I feel like y'all are unrealistic in the way y'all do that show too. It's entertaining when y'all do the who's and all that other mess. But I do feel like a lot of the political talk they do on that show is a lot of it is kid table surface BS. Y'all ain't really getting to the root of the issue. And I hope they did today because they had all 6 ladies at the table. And I haven't watched it yet. But they also said that the moment that Harris lost the election came when she went on The View. And she was asked if she would have done anything different than Biden over the past 4 years. And you know what she said? Nothing comes to mind. Not a thing. Like, really? So you wouldn't do anything different. You wouldn't do anything different, like with what's going on in Gaza. You wouldn't do anything different regarding the economy. You wouldn't do anything in regards of like the inflation on groceries. The fact that people are paying so much money on food. I shouldn't have to be buying 5 items and it comes out to damn near $200. Like that's ridiculous. I bought 3 items from the pharmacy the other day. Shit cost me $40. For why? Like, where's this money going? And why is it costing so much? So people feel like regardless of how hard they work, they can't get a leg up. And like I was saying, I don't know if y'all ever going to see it. I doubt that Trump's is going to fix the problem, but child, I'm exhausted. So let me get to this thing because then I want to leave it up to on the floor for everybody to get their word in. But like I said, this whole thing with this case is pretty much the dominant factor in regards of um the today's topic. So they also said the vibe session never ended. So that's number 4. The economy was a top issue for voters. It may have been the issue that swung it for Trump. Despite the fact that the U.S. economy under Joe Biden and Kamala Harris is the strongest economy in the Western world, with U.S. growth since the pandemic outstripping Canada, the EU, and the UK, despite the fact that unemployment is at 4%, one of the lowest rates for 50 years, despite the fact that the real wages are higher now than they were when Trump left office. They didn't sell that, though. That was the problem. And yet people refuse to believe it. Much of the Biden presidency was dominated by talk of a vibe session, the disconnect between the positive state of the economy and the negative view of it held by most Americans. As recently as June, almost 6 in 10 Americans falsely believed that the U.S. was in a recession. I don't know how people thought it was. I was like, what? I didn't even know. I had no idea. They said that the U.S. is in a, how are we in a recession, and where y'all getting that information from? Were they selling that over on Fox News? And if they were, why weren't MSNBC, CNN, all the major news channels talking about it instead of talking about Trump bad, Kamala good? That wasn't enough to sell people on why I should vote for you. And I felt like that was another thing that the Democrats effed up on. Y'all sold your whole campaign on Trump is evil, Trump's a fascist, Trump is bad. Democrats will fix it. Well, I mean, even though Republican there was we will fix it. That was their slogan. And make America great again. They had many slogans. But on our end, it was just like, y'all didn't really do what you had to do to really sell it. That whole turn the page, if we fight, we win. It just sounded so corny and no shade, but it just sounded so disingenuous, especially from Kamala. Kamala felt a little robotic at times. And I would have loved to have seen Maya Rudolph play her on the thing, but I guess she only got one more day because this Saturday she gotta, she'll be able to do it. And then also, people felt the biases, even though it was a bunch of BS, with the SNL bit that just happened over the weekend, on Saturday. But you got Kamala Harris making an appearance and doing sketches. And which makes people think, oh, you're more interested in being performing. I mean, I'm like, well, Trump's doing the same damn thing. But why is it bad when she does it, but he does it? So we can also talk about the disparities, the fact that y'all get mad when you see a person of color or a woman do things, but white people could do no wrong. They also said number 5, get ready for President Vance. And that's what I said. That's where the whole Trojan horse thing comes in. Because it's like he is the face, but JD Vance is the one that's going to be moving pulling the strings. Especially since what? He's a millennial who's the vice president of the United States. Where you have Donald Trump is 78. He's in horrible physical and mental shape. And he has been prohibited by the Constitution from running again in 2028. So this whole mess about, oh, I'm going to be the president forever. No, you're not. You can't. You only got 4 more years left. So we got to sit and buckle up, put our heads down, do the work, and just, hope that this world doesn't become the Handmaid's Tale for real. But, we got the childless cat lady man that, hates women and all this other stuff or hates anybody. So he's about to become the 3rd youngest vice president in American history. So he is clearly the reason why he is where he is. Trump definitely put him in place to be the political heir. He is basically the face of MAGA, the standard bearer of the future. And I believe he was recommended by his son, Don. So, Don definitely got cool points on the Republican side because he got JD Vance in the door. And I'm sure Peter Thiel booty is, pussy's puckering that his man is up in the White House. And child, they said number 6, fascism is coming. He certainly falls into the general definition of fascist for sure. That's how John Kelly, retired Marine general and Trump's own former chief of staff in the White House, described the GOP candidate just days ago in yet another stunning intervention in the election campaign that had precisely zero impact on the outcome of this race. So, nevertheless, it's undeniably true. Trump is a fascist. You don't have to take Kelly's word for it. Even listen to Trump's former top general, Mark Milley, who has said Trump is fascist to the core. Just take Trump's own word for it. He has vowed to be a dictator who would terminate the Constitution and put the military on the streets. He has threatened his political opponents, who he calls scum, vermin, and the Hitler-esque enemy within, with imprisonment, while promising his supporters that once he wins, they'll never have to vote again. Now, so what do you call that other than fascism? Because that's going to happen. So there's going to be a lot of American authoritarianism that we've never seen before. And I feel like y'all not going to feel it until, about 2026, 2027, 2 years into his presidency, you're going to start feeling the repercussions. But then again, we should point out, we do have a bit of that whole fascism-esque type of stuff. And let's not even act like Democrats have not kind of been co-signing low-key on some of the fascism that has happened, especially me living in New York. We see military people on the streets when it comes to certain situations. So we got the cops, we get the military. So some of those things have creeped in over the years. So this is not now. I just feel like now it's probably going to be more to the extreme. But prior to, the fascism has been there, here and there, if you've really been paying attention. So then number 7, it says solidarity matters. Yes, a majority of American voters may have cast their votes for an unhinged racist and demagogue who is promising a bloody program of mass deportation and a new and bigger Muslim ban, but the rest of us need to stick together. Now, solidarity is about to become the most important word in our political vocabulary. He said, my friend Erica Endiola, the immigrant rights activist who experienced as an undocumented immigrant herself, helped shape her work, tweeted late last night. So pray for our immigrant families in the United States. We may need it for the next 4 years. You have no idea what's about to come if the results don't change. We will need you. We need each other. And so for the next 4 years, solidarity is the name of the game. So that's one of the things I want to say is that, yeah, we definitely need to stick together at this point. We have to figure out how we're going to be able to coexist with each other for the next 4 years. So that's the way I'm pretty much looking at it. And I have some friends on social media that said, I'm pulling up all the receipts, chair. So I had some friends that posted some stuff too. And I was like, okay, I'm with it. So one of my friends, Nick, said it's become clear that Trump has won the Electoral College and at this time, even the popular vote. I did not see this coming. Despite all of his deplorable behavior and rhetoric, his 2 impeachments, and his felony conviction, the man's legacy will be America's greatest salesman. I'm surprised that Harris' campaign failed, though the recipe for disaster was there all along. For starters, the campaign had to defend a subpar administration's record on the border and combating inflation. Other issues included Biden's mishandling of Gaza and sending billions of taxpayer dollars to proxy wars overseas, all while working class Americans were hurting. How do you defend all that while offering nothing drastically different? Biden most certainly should have ran for 1 term and stepped down so Democrats could have a proper primary. After Harris entered the race, the distrust had already been sown. In hindsight, this move should have been done sooner. And didn't we say that earlier? There are more factors too, but I feel like the advisor strongly ignored or underestimated the public's true sentiment. Well, I think it's a little bit of both. I do feel like on one hand, they did ignore the public. They weren't really listening to the people. And I also feel like they underestimated, which is why when you hear people, maybe the wording was bad, but when you hear people say, oh, y'all taking our votes for granted, anytime when it comes down to stuff, y'all take the black vote for granted, or you take the woman's vote for granted, you take this, that, and the other. And it's like, now you see what they meant by that. It was just they didn't word it correctly. But if you dug deeper within what was said, and looked at the whole idea, was like, yeah, you're taking people's votes and stuff for granted. That's why they're saying what they're saying. So he also said that the results were not rigged, but a referendum on that state of our country. I truly hope we can protect our loved ones and fight like hell to save our democracy. We must use our power to build bridges and not burn them. It's our only hope for a bigger, brighter future. Oh yeah, so some other people went and said corporate Democrats are still paying for their original sin from 2016, which is stabbing Bernie in the back. That was another thing too, that we wanted to an opportunity to have a green party. And there's always been this argument of, okay, whenever somebody comes in, a third party or whatever comes in and has something to say, the first thing that Democrats and Republicans do, they join forces to try to push them out. And Bernie was that breath of fresh air that people were like, he's hitting all the beats and the things that we want. And people weren't, and then the Democrats did what they did to push him out. And so, yeah, there's that as well. Now Republicans have seized the populist mantle with an electoral landslide built with a diverse working class coalition. And two of the Supreme Court justices, I'm sure Clarence Thomas is one of them, is going to be retiring, which means now they've opened up the door for Trump to put a new person in there, probably 10 times worse. So another person said the devastating election was a blow to Democratic voters. This solidifies how malignant corporate Democrats' politics have become, meaning abandoning the working class while supporting the upper echelon and world order. Without a viable alternate party or candidate, we're electorally screwed. And if y'all keep doing the same thing over and over and over, you're going to lose again. So, like I said, this is the time that Democrats need to really sit down after this shit is done and over with, really look into what went wrong, have a long, hard look at yourselves, really go there with the conversation and fix it. And don't just sit up there being depressed and licking your wounds. You can do that because wounds eventually heal. But if y'all don't do what you can to eradicate the issue, we just gonna be doing the same thing over and over, and y'all gonna keep losing. So, yeah. So it also said that what it said, this solidifies how malignant corporate Democrats' politics have become, meaning abandoning the working class while supporting the upper echelon and world order. Without a viable alternate party or candidate, we're electorally screwed. Another person said, let's hope that average Democrat voters assess the problem the way you just did, instead of doing a repeat of 2016 with Russia baiting and attributing everything to misogyny and racism. And then a friend of mine responded, they won't. So it's like y'all just gonna do the thing. And I know there's a level of anxiety and uncertainty in the world right now, and people are feeling a ways about how stuff is. But just just know that we just have to keep fighting. We just can't sit here and just be like, oh well, we admit defeat, so we just gotta put our head down and we just accept the world's about to be a big fascist world. It's like we've never just sat down and took things lying down. It's like how we got things in this country is we fought against the establishment, we fought against racism, we fought against homophobia, we fought against misogyny, we fought against all those things. How do you think women got the right to vote? How do you think women got the right to Roe v. Wade? How did that get on the map? How do you think that slavery was ended and all those other things where black people were out here fighting for a better future? Like, we can't just sit on our hands and just be like, oh well, this is the way the world is, okay, and then that's that. Like, no. So one of my friends who's very much he don't like neither side, he said the following: I still think it's the economy, but all but one pro-abortion ballot initiative won, mostly because of white women. They voted the Dem agenda and turned around and voted for Trump. I've been saying all along that Democrats will surely lose without eclipsing Trump on economic policy. The worst part is Trump's economic agenda is juvenile BS, but Democrats didn't even have one. Absolutely nothing for the Rust Belt. That's asinine. And that was another thing too. It's like y'all literally had nothing to offer. Like, that's why I said all they showed up with was Trump bad, Kamala good. That's caveman shit. And look, we can get into the argument of Trump basically talks like a damn caveman. We know this, but Trump bad, Kamala good is not the way you win a campaign. So there's that. But look, it's not all doom and gloom. We got some people in office that we can shout them out for a second. So Julie Johnson will become the first LGBTQ member of Congress in the South. So congratulations to her. Kamala Harris did win California, and she did win New York. The weird part is why people still vote for Ted Cruz. Now y'all say y'all hate him out in Texas, but y'all continue to vote for him. Make that make sense. We do. Andy Kim won the Senate race in New Jersey, so congratulations to him. AOC won her reelection in New York. She beat Republican challenger Tina Forte. Um, Angela also Brooks will be Maryland's first Black woman senator, so congratulations to her. So New York and Maryland voted to protect abortion, so pretty much we're good here. So that's why my ass is not leaving. And shout out to a friend of mine um, who posted on his social media, but I don't know. Well, look, he basically was looking to move back to North Carolina. I remember he was talking about this for months. But now what happened with North Carolina stuff, and he's HIV he's a gay man, HIV positive but undetectable. He's very open about his stuff. He even posted on his Facebook. So I don't think he would mind if I talk about this. But he said that I don't even think that's a good idea now, especially like when you have access to healthcare and you're someone who is HIV positive but undetectable. If you decide to move to North Carolina, who knows what the rules are out there, especially as a gay Black man who's going to move back to North Carolina and you need to have your meds. You're going to have people possibly, you know, judging you or going against you if you need to get medication. So I said, and a bunch of people advised, no, you might as well stay in Cali at this point. Put it off, maybe 2028 if you want to look at it. And the thing, we get like a blue wave or something or another, and the Democrats work to get back in the good graces of the American people. If they actually show them, don't just be like, okay, now it's over. We're just going to go back underground and we're just going to suffer. Democrats need to get out here and be vigilant and do what they got to do. So I was like, no, the best thing you need to do is stay safe in your state. So you either stay in California, because that's the best bet for you. Also, congratulations to Jasmine Crockett, who won re-election in Texas. Sarah McBride also won, and she will be the first trans member of Congress. So, but of course, Donald Trump did win Texas. So good luck to some of y'all out there. Lisa Blunt, Rochester, will become the first Black woman senator of Delaware. Marjorie Taylor Greene won re-election in Georgia, but she's been gerrymandered, so her ass ain't going nowhere. She ain't even got to try hard. They're just going to give her the seat. Democrat Josh Stein basically beat Mark Robinson in North Carolina's governor race. Congressman, and I like him though. Congressman Maxwell Frost, who is like this young Congress guy. I've seen him in interviews and stuff. I kind of like him. He won re-election in Florida. So you have these blue people who are in these red states who are trying to push for, things to change. And he also said Republicans flipped the Senate seat in West Virginia. Yeah. So that's what we have so far. So I just want to point out that, it's not all doom and gloom. Like while we have, them other idiots, we do have some good news in regards to other people who won their seats, and they'll be out here on the front lines, fingers crossed, fighting the good fight. So that's all I wanted to say on that. We'll get into the RuPaul's Drag Race stuff and Azealia Banks, basically the stuff she said recently, and decided to go in on Zayn, Malik, and Cardi B while she was talking about she lied that she voted for Trump. We'll get into that in a second, but I want to actually want to go and talk about this. Chill. You know what? And already know people kind of side-eyeing Zelensky. Or maybe it's a thing with him because Zelensky wants to get on Trump's good side so that way they can keep getting that aid to go against Russia. But he butt buddies with Putin. So I hope you don't think that he's going to be able to have a rational, reasonable conversation with him. Tren de Aragua gave Kamala a last-minute child. I was like, save y'all last-minute endorsements. I don't know. It said on YouTube, watch Nikki Heaton accuses Diddy and Kanye West. Okay, so I definitely look into that. It said, what is them teas? A lot. So I hope I hit everything in regards to my political talk. Y'all could definitely let me know if I hit that. And if I didn't, y'all could throw some stuff down there in the comments. Because I knew I was like, there's a lot I wanted to say. I'm still processing a lot of stuff. And yeah, I just want to be able to coexist and live in a world where we could just agree to disagree. We can have our conversations, and I don't need people to just be out here at war with each other while we have a government stripping away everybody's rights. Come to LA, boo. Homeless is, I lived in LA for a year. That's why my ass came back to New York. Don't get me wrong. New York, we got our issues too with the homeless, but LA, it was pretty bad. Like I remember I would get on the bus and I was going to, because it was just like you could take Ubers or whatever, but I lived in Silver Lake, which, oh my God, Silver Lake was like the best place to live. First of all, they had a lot of gay bars in the area. It's very much like when I describe to people in New York, it's very much like Bushwick. Like it's a little, it's like you turn the corner, it's got a little hoodness to it, it's got a little hardness, which I like. And then you can go up the street and it's a little more demure and mindful. So I like I liked it because it reminded me of like New York in a way. So I like living out there. And I was like, I can just take the bus. It takes me right through West Hollywood, through oh my God. I was like, damn, where did I work? I told it Century City. That's where I work, because I had to think about I was thinking Century 21. So I worked in Century City, which is like a little bit off Beverly Hills. And you can just take a bus right from like straight from where I lived out there. So that's another thing I liked about it too. The public transportation was convenient with the trains and the buses and things of that nature. So, excuse me. That's what happens when you drink coffee. You end up gassy all morning. But y'all should be used to it by now. So, yeah, but when I remember one time I had two jobs. I worked in Century City, and then I also worked in downtown LA. And I remember taking the bus through Skid Row. Child, that was a mess. Like y'all think it's bad in other places. Skid Row is like blocks upon blocks upon blocks of homeless people just living out there. And I think that's why a lot of people live in LA, because it's the weather. And this is something that we need to be dealing with. I don't think everybody who's homeless has mental illness, because if that was the case, then we really have a mental illness crisis that we need to be dealing with in the United States of America. But so yeah, LA is horrible, and I'm sure that there's other people that are probably like, well, come to Miami or come to this place. So I'm thinking like a lot of the city areas, they do have a serious homeless problem. Brian Bunny said, what about Medicare for all? What about free college? What about stop sending the weapons? Yeah, there's a whole lot of things that we need to deal with. It's like, why are we paying so much for college? There was somebody that was having a conversation. I forget who it was that I saw on, I think it was on a YouTube show or something or another, talking about how tuition for their kid to go to like a private school, whatever, $50,000. Why is, oh, I know what it was. It was Perez Hilton talking about 50 grand for um their kid to go to like school or whatever. I don't know if it was his kid or we were just talking in general, like daycare or whatever. I'm like, why is even getting an education so expensive? So yeah, we should Democrats never mention anything about Medicare for all. We don't want to have it. Everybody should have access to medical insurance. Everybody, college should not be, you shouldn't have to be paying for college. Just like we didn't have to pay for public school. Why is it that for college, for me to get a better education, I got to pay for it? I never had to pay for it all my life when I was growing up. And luckily, growing up as a child in the 80s and 90s, I got a pretty good education from public school. Now I don't know, because the way that the kids are being taught, that's a huge question mark. But when I was coming up, I was lucky to grow up in the time that I did. So yeah, we got to stop, and then also, us being like a gun laundering nation, where we're gun laundering guns to and bombs to Israel. Let me get me started on that foolishness. So it's I just hope we get Terrifier 4. The fact that Project 2025 can make Terrifier illegal scared me. Well, look, I need my damn horror movies, or this is gonna be one big ass. Well, we're about to be in one big ass horror movie for the next 4 years. But I really hope that it doesn't affect, because it's like, oh yeah, we want to eliminate gore and blood and nudity and all this. I'm like, huh? Who are you to try to determine what we can and cannot have? But I guess this is what the majority of the red folks want. They want somebody to tell them what they can. It's funny how the Republicans, who are supposed to be the nation of limited government and keeping your nose out of my business, is asserting themselves in everybody's business. That just does not make sense to me. Driver C says, imagining allowing illegals from around the globe to waltz into a country unvented they are getting free housing and brand new high rises. And that's another argument that I feel like a lot of people are saying with that as well, is the fact that, and I said that earlier in the show, that how is it that you as an immigrant can come into this country and just get the red carpet rolled out for you? You can get an apartment easily. You can get all this other stuff without a background check. I got to give a fucking blood sample. I got to give a kidney. I got to give all this shit for me to even get an apartment in New York. The hoops I had to jump through when I was living in Harlem, I'm like, y'all got to be out your damn mind. And the amount of paperwork and the amount of signatures I had to get from people in order for me to get an apartment in New York. But immigrants can come here and all of a sudden get the red carpet roll out. I was like, what? But what about the people here? And that's why I said that people in this country feel like how you focusing on the outside and helping them, but you're not putting things in place to help those of us who need help, who need a leg up, who just want to be able to make ends meet. And so, yeah, inflation is definitely off the charts. And that was another thing too. They had no solution in any of the stuff that they had no solutions, no answers, no nothing. It's like, oh yeah, I'm going to give y'all a little money for homeowners and all. I was like, what? That's what y'all running on? Yeah, as we said, it's only 4 years to second and final term. But yeah, that's true. We could put up with the shenanigans for 4 years. But what people need to worry about is, like I said, Trump is the mascot. Trump is the Trojan horse. We got to worry about the JD Vances and everybody else that he is putting in these cabinets that are making the decisions. So it may be his second and final term, and won't he be Biden's age when he leaves? Isn't Biden like 82? So he'll be like 82 years old when he leaves. And after that, it's like, okay, well, the Democrats got to figure out who's your mascot? Who y'all gonna put up against JD Vance? Because you know what's gonna happen is JD Vance is going to try to run for president. I don't think he doesn't have the range and the personality as a Trump, so I don't think he would win. But they still have people in place that can make things happen, I guess. And now we're about to have a majority Senate and Congress, and House and Senate. Democrats need to learn, don't lean on celebrity endorsements. Yeah, that's another thing too. There was too many celebrities that was coming out. Yeah, you thought that Beyonce, Cardi B, all these, in a way, I'm so glad that Taylor Swift decided to mind her business and focus on her man and that tour. She was like, I'm not getting involved. And then Katy Perry coming out with her pitchy ass voice singing The Greatest Love of All. Child, Whitney is rolling over in her grave if she ain't cremated. I don't remember if she was cremated or if she was, buried. But if she was buried, she is rolling over in that grave. Because who the hell told her that she had the reins to sing The Greatest Love of All? You believe the children are our future. Okay, sis. But you ain't think them vocals was the future. Oh, you said George. Oh, you said, so it was Bush in 2004. Oh yeah, because wasn't it oh yeah, didn't he do I forgot he did 2 terms. And then it was Obama. I forgot. It was like Bush the second did 2 terms, and then Obama, I believe, came in 2008. That campaign was trash, and the Democrats didn't embrace democracy in choosing a candidate, undemocratic, basically. Mm-hmm. Brown Bunny also says, either way, the American people lost. Billionaires, the military industrial complex, and the Zionist entity won and would have won either way. Shaking my damn head. Onyx says the Democratic Party has been anti-Trump ever since 2016. It was no longer the inclusive economy-based party it once was. And you said, who do you think will run in 2020? I definitely think Vance will be the GOP nominee, but who will be the Democratic nominee? That's a good question. I know some people have been talking about Hakeem Jeffries and a whole bunch of other people, but at this point, what needs to happen is whoever their candidate is going to be and has some progressive ideas. Because here's the thing, if y'all think the world is moderate, they're not. I do feel like there's a lot of people who are more progressive. I think that we have evolved politically. Have we evolved as a people and a species? That's a good question, because if you're saying that you're voting for racism and misogyny and all these other things, then we aren't as progressive as we thought. But yeah, so whoever the Democratic nominee is, once Trump is in office and doing whatever the foolishness he's doing, y'all need to hit the ground running. Y'all need to figure out who's going to be your little, your little shining star in the party, and start propping them up to go against whoever they're going to have, which I do believe it will be JD Vance trying to run for president, because he's going to be the one pulling the puppet strings behind the scenes. Now, the question remains, can they keep Trump on course unless they pull some intriguing candidate type stuff and the big A happens to him? If you're trying to wonder what I'm referring to, think John F. Kennedy in the vehicle. So also, Cheryl said 31% of white women voted for Kamala. They put him in office the first time, and this time voted against their own interests. Absolutely. I also heard that Kamala could run for governor of California since Newsom's term is almost up. It would revitalize her career in politics. Well, maybe you know what? That's what she should go for. Maybe she should go for governor. But they try to push her out there to save whatever little what was with their campaign. But I realized, it's like, you know what? I do feel like it's some of her fault, but I also feel like or is she just a phase, or is it the fact that she took Biden's people with her to push her out there in this campaign? Because my thing is, it's like, you only gave people 3 months to get to know who you are, and yeah, we can get to know you in a short amount of time. But what were your policies, and how are you going to run your campaign different? She could not pull herself away from him, from Biden. Even though you should be grateful and thankful. Maybe grateful is not a good word to use. You should be thankful that Biden didn't make a woman of color the vice president of the United States. That's all great. But as you try to run for, the president of the United States, what are you going to do that's different than what he did? Nobody wants the same thing, and they couldn't. They couldn't do it because she didn't want to hurt Biden feelings. But it ended up costing y'all the election. So if she decides to run for governor of California, that's cute or whatever. Or maybe what it is that Gavin Newsom is going to step up to the plate and want to run for president. And maybe, and this might piss some people off, but maybe vice president, you'll have to pick Josh Shapiro. That might not be a good idea because he's a Zionist and some of the stuff that he said. But, some people felt like she should have picked Josh Shapiro. But we'll see. In the next 4 years, what happens? Illegals are in Beth Israel getting free medical care, living in brand new hotels and apartments across the boroughs, and a lot of them do not work. Well, damn, can I get that gig? Because I hate working. Well, I don't hate working. I actually do like working. The funny thing is, I'm the type of person that is just like, I rush to get off unemployment to go work, when I shouldn't even be in that situation. Because I'm like, if you work, when you work, that unemployment is yours to use. So I shouldn't be ashamed to want to use it. But I get in that way sometimes. Bibi would take his dirty laundry to the White House during the last Trump presidency. I also think the Democrats need to stop focusing on college educated voters and attempt to get. Well, look, they did say that a lot of the people that voted for Trump were not college educated. So I do feel like that they focus too much on the, college educated, middle class, that sort of thing. They should have did what Republicans did, which was go after the ones who didn't go to college, probably because they can't afford to go to college, or maybe they don't want to go to college. And they should try to go after the rural voters, not just, oh yeah, I'm going to go to all the swing states and do my little rallies and all this other stuff and think that's going to be enough. It's like, yeah, now what you need to do in the next 4 years, y'all need to reach out to a lot of the people in the Rust Belts. You got to reach out to the people that are in, these rural areas. Those are the ones who are out there voting for this man. In Pennsylvania, Penn State's county, that was Penn State's county that was traditionally blue went red for Trump this year, and that's when I knew he won. Oh yeah, if you lose Pennsylvania, it's definitely a wrap. Biden needed a map and compass plus GPS to find his way. Okay, so I was told progressive isn't it. That's not popular. Go back to being middle of the road. Well, isn't that what the Democrats was doing? They was being middle of the road and being very vague in what it is that they stood on. Playing it safe don't get you nowhere. And they said, how about how about the Dems actually offer the American people something? How about they listen to the popular vote, such as Bernie's policies that were extremely popular, instead of getting billionaire support? Absolutely. And that's why I said also, like, this whole thing about monies, I mean, well, oh, so-and-so gave a $50 million donation. I don't like when I hear stuff like that, because it's like you're being bought and paid for. So y'all need to stop thinking about billionaire support. And you want to know something? No shade, but I'm so glad I did not give money to any of these campaigns, because people get caught up in the bubble, people get caught up in the matrix, and then they start giving money, and then they want more money. And it's like, no, I'm not giving anything to any of these people until you could show why it is. And there was another thing too. I've seen some people saying, like, we're not even gonna get to vote no more. Like, this might be the end of people's right to vote. So maybe we need to think we got to find a way to keep that from happening. But yeah, that's why I said also, when you said that Bernie's policies were popular and Democrats stabbed him in the back because they didn't want him to be president. They had their own plan, wasn't it? Wait, didn't he run during Hillary situation? They wanted her to be the shiny beacon, quiet, but I don't even know if it's quiet as it's kept. People don't like Hillary Clinton. I remember when they was talking about trotting her out for Kamala's campaign. People was like, and we doing so well. Why y'all trying to bring that lady out here? Leave her where she's at. Leave her out there trying to sell that damn book. Let her go on The View, and her and Chelsea. If they want to go on The View, let them go on there. But like, as far as trying to trot her out, we don't want it. So his policies were popular, and we wanted that change. We wanted that progressive change. We were ready for it. The Democrats made sure that he didn't get the traction that he wanted. And I feel like this may be also an effect of that. People feel like you need to feel effects right away. No, what happened? It's gonna come. You ain't feeling it now. They always say it may not feel it today, you may not feel it tomorrow, but eventually you're gonna feel it. And when you feel it, you'll know when you feel it. The working class is the people. Absolutely. That's the word. I mean, they're not the only ones that's the people, though. He said the work. Kamala going on The View and saying there's nothing that comes to mind was where it. Oh, yeah, and that's it. And I saw, like, when I would watch certain pundits, that is what they brought up when she went on The View and she said, "Oh no, there's nothing that comes to mind." They were like, "Excuse me, like what? Like, I'm sitting there like, are you dumb?" I didn't really pay attention to it. I realized. I realized with me, when I did watch that episode, I just had it on in the background and I was busy working on stuff. Like, I really wasn't paying attention to the stuff that she was saying. Because I feel like that's another thing that irritates me about media. You could definitely tell the biases that happens with certain people. It's like, if you're going to go on a show, there needs to be, you can ask those little softball questions, but you got to come with the hard hitting ones too. Shit, I'm speaking. The View do be doing the most basic childish shit. Sure do. That's why I really don't go to them for politics. I just watch them and I'm entertained by the shenanigans and things. But I really do not. I don't watch The View for politics, like, to learn about politics, because they don't really know what they're talking about over there. They're giving y'all a bunch of surface stuff. That's basically a show for people who don't really pay attention to politics, but you just want the basics. It's like watching local news. You get the basics of what's going on, and then you just go about your day. Robert says, I was told the name calling, like calling them rapists, Nazi, homo. It's funny how you just mispronounce everything intentionally, and I'm sitting here just saying it out loud. Also added fuel to the fire to show we could be friends. And that's why I said, like, when I would tell y'all, when I went to, I kid you not, that's why I was like, there was something deeper there when I worked at MSG Trump rally. the people that when I would talk to them when they were trying to bombard my section and try to come in because it was general seating and they want to sit, when I told them, oh wait, y'all gotta hold on because I'm being told one thing. I don't want to throw people under the bus. I'm gonna tread lightly because what I found out the other day when I was at work, somebody literally came up to me and was like, oh, so I heard you got a podcast. I'm like, wait a minute, who told you that? And I keep it to myself, but people be watching. So I ain't gonna throw people under the bus completely. I'm gonna tread lightly on what I'm about to say. So, because I like my job. So, so when it came down to when I worked there and I'm at MSG and people were coming in, when I told them, I was like, I need y'all to wait a minute because I need to know what's going on. There was a lot of miscommunication, a lot of craziness going on. It got a little stressful at one point. But one thing with me, I'm very good at keeping my composure under pressure. Back when I was younger, I was not able to do that. But now, when you've had enough life experience, you really know how to crowd control and deal with a lot of people. So when it came down to it, I let a couple of people run in first until I was told, wait, they're doing something else. I was like, well, nobody told me. So I held them off and I was like, just wait. The security guard went in, dealt with the situation. I was waiting for him to come back to give me the go ahead and let me know while we powwow together what we can do to make sure things go the way they're supposed to go. So people are like, okay, sir, can you tell us what's going on? First of all, y'all making me sound old when you call me sir, but whatever. I understand it's respect and all that other stuff. It has nothing to do with age. So people were actually the craziest part, and I know that people will not believe this, whatever. A lot of the Trump supporters were respectful. They listened when I told them, okay, I need y'all to wait here. One lady even said, oh, I'll, if you go in and find out what's going on, I'll hold everybody here for you. I was like, really? You sure? And she was like, yeah. And they actually listened. So I gagged over that. So I went in, found out what's going on. They moved everybody over to the other section, and I went and I told them. I was like, okay, so y'all got to go to the next section over. They're trying to fill up certain spots so that way people can get in where they need to get in. This whole section, I can't let people in yet because the way they doing stuff is beyond my reach. I don't have a say-so in this because that MSG that day was pretty much run by Secret Service. They were the ones that came up with the decisions. They said what needed to be said, and that was it. But as far as like with anything else, it's like, yeah, I do feel like that maybe deep in their hearts, I don't think that everybody that was at that Trump rally is a racist, is a homophobe, is a transphobe. Now, I'm not going to sit up here and say, I said not all of them. There were some people that were entertained by the shenanigans. There were people there that were probably for those reasons of they felt disenfranchised, they felt ignored, they felt left out by the political parties. And Trump represented to them what was in 2016 in regards of they hate politics. They hate the fact that that politics have let them down, that political figures have let them down. So they're going to vote for the anti-politician because he's never actually done the ground up work, what it takes to be a politician to run for political office, whichever side of the spectrum you decide to choose. I talk to the people. I talk to Trump supporters, so I understand what they're saying with this. So people could take this as they, for what they will, but I'm just trying to keep it real with y'all in regards of the conversations that I have with people. And I'm lucky not to do my own horn, but I'm glad that I can come to a place where it's like I can sit and have conversations with people and we can literally go back and forth and I can pick your brain and it doesn't come to a place of we're fighting or you want to call people out of their name. Like I genuinely am curious about people and want to understand why they feel the way that they feel, why they feel frustrated, and what can we do to get to a place that can evolve us and get us to a better place. Now, do I think that Trump and him is going to change that? No. I do feel like he has conned a lot of people and he has sold y'all a bag of goods. But people are just going to, I guess, this next 4 years coming up, they're just going to have to learn the hard way. So I do feel like that maybe that it was, so based off of your last comment to say to show that we can be friends, I do feel like that I did get a lot of that when I worked at Trump rally at Madison Square Garden. He said, you know that there's some law where because Kamala was on SNL, NBC gave Trump a 1 minute advertisement that played, and he put that in place. A lot of people don't realize that he put that in place. So if they were going to show any kind of biases, because I think they said they have to do fair treatment with both sides, but we all know that if you're not going to be fair to Trump, he's not going to go on SNL and do a bit. He doesn't like being made fun of. I do like the fact that Kamala didn't take herself too seriously when I would make fun of her on SNL. She could take a joke. Lanier said on The View, no, they didn't say anything different. They still won't say the programming to follow a rich, cis, straight, white male. Oh, so I'm glad somebody watched it. Well, thank you for the heads up. I'm gonna still check it out later. But you said they still won't say the programming to follow is rich, cis, straight, white, male, regardless of his obvious crimes, is why they bought his bull. And yeah, they won't have a real. And I think that's what pisses a lot of people off. And you want to know something? In so many ways, this is why I'm glad that I do what I do. This is why I'm glad YouTube and so many other streamings exist, because I feel like whether you agree or not, I'll say for me personally, I leave it open where it's like we can have different conversations and different interpretations. And whether we agree to disagree, we can be respectful and all that other stuff, but we can say stuff. That's why I call the show intentionally Chris Avalon Unfiltered, because I don't want to sugarcoat. I don't want to have to bite my tongue and beat around the bush in regards of things because, oh, well, they can't say certain things on The View because certain people run the network. And if you say something out of line, then you're going to get ended up like, remember when Whoopi said what she said about the Jews and they got pissed off and she got suspended? Then you end up in that situation. You say that white people are the ones that cis white male, those are the ones that voted, and that at the end of the day, they're going to fall back on their whiteness. If you say that on The View, yeah, they're going to get mad. They're going to want your resignation. They're going to want to cancel you because at the end of the day, white supremacy is a thing that we need to address in this country. Misogyny is another thing we need to address in this country. Y'all didn't want to see a woman, let alone a woman of color, run this country. I did drink a little bit of the Kool-Aid and think that maybe we did evolve a little bit post Hillary Clinton. I was wrong. And you know me, I'm willing to admit, and it takes a lot for me to admit if I'm wrong. But I have no problems at times to admit if I'm wrong. And you said, oh, Karen Allen says, but so what is there? What is there is more ruling. People are taking a ish in the beat. Ew. Really? That's nasty. But I would not, first of all, I wouldn't be surprised if they was doing stuff like that. Yeah, New York is a hot mess in regards of like, we getting all these skyscrapers and all this other stuff, but we definitely need to deal with a mental illness and homeless issue out here as well. Because look, it's damn near 80 degrees right now, climate change. There is damn near 80 degrees right now in New York City. It's about to get cold soon. So you already know you're gonna be dealing with a lot of homeless people on the damn trains. And so I'm not looking forward to that. I like when it's a little warm out and they want to stay on the platform in the little chairs over, and not on the trains as much. Now I gotta be smelling a whole lot of ass when it start getting, during the wintertime. Cameron says we needed Trump. I'm sorry, all the Venezuelans, let alone other criminals, walking in like nothing. There's no problem with regulated immigration, not crazy immigration. That's the difference. And Kamala underperformed. Well, Onyx says Kamala underperformed and Trump overperformed. Yeah, he did. This shows how terrible polls are in America. Most of them are surveyed on university. Well, look, this is why I've always said I don't believe in polls. I think polls are BS. The only poll I give a damn about is the one that people wrapping their thighs around at the nightclub. Those are the only polls that y'all need to be worrying about. These other polls, it's a bunch of BS. Because I'm like, who are they polling? I've never been polled a day in my life. I don't even think my parents have. I don't know anybody in my inner circle that has ever been polled. Who are you polling? So when y'all do these polls, it's a bunch of BS. Or you're reaching out to a certain demographic that has no real finger on the pulse of what's happening in the real world. So we need to get rid of these damn polls. Karen says people are tired of the victim mentality that the Democrats promote. Meanwhile, they take money behind our backs. Numbers don't lie, my friend. People were tired. Well, I didn't say they weren't. I said, yeah, people are tired of the BS. Not sure if you saw this, but Kamala is expected to concede the election at 4 p.m. according to CNN. Yeah, I did hear that she was supposed to come out and do that, but I didn't know what time. But now that y'all telling me, I guess hopefully I was gonna say maybe the show will be over by then, but I doubt it because we have spent a lot of time. Not that I'm upset about it, talking about this whole campaign and what happened. This is why I said it's an open forum. I'm leaving it for people to come in and have and then give their thoughts. And that's why I said, like, I'm not judging, I'm not being angry over this stuff. It's like I'm just taking it all in. We Virgos, we just absorb everything, we compartmentalize, we figure it out, and then we just like, okay, so what's the next step? Like, I'm not sitting here being all depressed. I'm not you ain't gonna see me jump off no damn bridge. Cause like, oh my God, my life is over. Like, nope. I just feel like that's the point where you wake up and you fight. So I love the difference of opinion in here. Karen coming in with her differences of opinion. And we have everybody who, was saying all the things. But I feel like I love the fact that everybody is in here is saying basically like we're having an honest conversation about where the Democrats screwed up and what they can do to make it better. And if y'all continue to think that y'all just gonna be, oh well, look, we lost because of this. I was like, okay, well, y'all need to just figure out what y'all want to do to move the needle forward in regards of y'all need to rebuild the Democratic Party because this shit is a mess. Whatever this stuff that y'all got going on now. And so Karen says, yeah, she's coming at 4 p.m. I'm sorry, it looks bad. She couldn't show face for the people that supported her right away. Yeah, she should have actually came out and did that. It was like that was an ego thing. You expect someone like her to step up against other country leaders. That lady wasn't prepared for shit. If I was Kamala, I wouldn't show my face ever again. It's well, you did say that she should go to LA to be the governor. Because yeah, that is embarrassing. It's like, girl, you ain't getting no swing states. How did you not get not one? And so if I was Kamala, I would and I feel like well, you think maybe it was because she spent more time having Jennifer Lopez and Cardi B and all them speaking for her, and Beyonce with that horrible ass speech, then coming out there and actually speaking to the people. Because to be honest, people like Beyonce and people like all these other celebrities, they're not regular people like us. And say what you want about Trump, yeah, he did have a lot of business people that came out and spoke for him. But he also had, he had Dana White, which, a lot of people love UFC. Speaking of which, I think I'm working a UFC event this week. It might be this week or next week. UFC is coming to the Garden, so I'll be working that. I'm a UFC fan. So Dana White coming out, that was like a pivotal moment. I remember like the guy that I was working with, the security guy I was working with in my section, he was excited when he saw Dana White because he loves UFC. So he pulled out his phone real quick and took a picture. So he was, there was people that was excited to have those moments. What's his name? Hulk Hogan looked like the fool, but it is what it is. So I think maybe, who knows? Maybe it was that the celebrity endorsements definitely did hurt them. But look, she's got to lick her wounds a little bit. She's got to put on that face, and they've got to, she's got to show her face because, and you already know what's coming with Trump. Oh, we beat stupid Kamala. He's gonna say his dumb stuff. It's like just be happy you won and move on. But the ego. I know his ego is like bigger than his actual BMI. So that is what it is right now. I was told the Democrats think it's still the 90s, not realizing how it worked for them 30 years ago. Well, they need to wake up because if y'all still thinking that you could run the country like you did 30 years ago, then y'all are bigger idiots than I thought. But women are in high positions. Kamala is at a high position. Yeah, and it won't. And I feel like it won't even affect her. Like what's going to happen with the rest of the world? It's not going to affect her. Like her and all these other rich people that they trotted out. Y'all gonna be fine. Y'all can pick up and leave. Shout out to Christina Milian. I didn't even know she lived in Paris. She dipped it low and headed all the way over to France. And there's a lot of y'all that could, a lot of you rich folks that could pick up and leave. I'm sure Madonna done trotted her behind right out the country, right after she and Lourdes voted last night in New York. I'm probably going to change my party affiliation in 2028 unless Democrats go through a major transformation. I'm thinking I'm about to change my shit to independent. And the weird part was on my ballot yesterday, there was no other party. It just said Donald Trump and Kamala Harris. I was like, where's Jill Stein and all the other people? Like, how come they're on there? But then I'm looking at other people's ballots and I'm seeing that they had the most to the people that was running. Nothing changes if nothing changes if nothing changes. The Democratic Party needs change. Yes, they damn sure do. They need to change it and to make over. They need look, all that money that Joe Biden has spent on them facelifts and Botox, the Democratic Party could definitely use a facelift. Oh, you said I almost did. I didn't even read Ron's comment. Those corn stars that supported him better be prepared for their OnlyFans to be going, okay, because they coming after the sex workers. Corn stars supported him, but Cardi B, Sexy Red, Meg shaking ass, fake J-Lo crying. You think it made it better? Well, look, yeah, there was a lot of adult film stars that came out and some or adult film stars that performed. Man, y'all stop with the victim mentality. Get your mentality out of that. Focus on your money. And that's what it is too. That I feel like a lot of people feel like the reason why they went with Trump is because of the economy. They felt like they made more money under him, especially when it came to the stimulus checks. We know that it was the Democratic Congress that had something to do with getting that out there. It wasn't him. He just wanted to hold it because he wanted to put a signature on it. And it's like, this ain't no apprentice. Like, you're not well, quite as it's kept. I don't think he paid for that. That was the production company behind the show that was over on NBC. What's his name? Mark, what is his name? Roma Downey husband. Mark Burnett. That was him putting that up. Remember her from remember Roma Downey from Touched by an Angel? I used to love that damn show. I used to watch that with my grandmother. But anyway, so it said also Onyx says in North Carolina you can get medication for HIV at Planned Parenthood. Abortion is legal during the first 12 weeks, but after the 12th week, the big three are the only acceptance for getting them. Well, I don't think that he's willing to go through the whole Planned Parenthood situation. I just think that if his medical insurance provides him to get his HIV meds, that's what he wants to stick with. I don't think anybody wants to keep going down to, Planned Parenthood or the free clinic to get a shot in their ass or whatever. Whenever you get an STI and you get the shot in your butt, not a lot of people don't want to go through all of that. Or, some people want to maintain their anonymity and just be like, I'm going to my doctor and you don't know what I'm going to my doctor for, then I'm not just going up in Planned Parenthood or any of these other places that you're going to expose their stuff. I remember when I worked for ACQC, which is the AIDS Center Queens County. When you came up in there, you didn't want people knowing what you was coming up in there for. You can come up in there with anything. You can be coming up in there for, you have a lawyer, they help you with housing, they help you with, getting, they also had a doctor, so you can come in and get your physical checkup and that sort of thing. So you can come up in there and plethora of things. Plus, we also had a youth program. And we also had like groups for the gays, for gay men, you had those things as well. So there was a lot of that care for a lot of people that were in, our community, but also wasn't just LGBTQ plus people that were getting, care. So a lot of people want to go and they don't want people knowing a business. So I think that's also another thing is that privacy, but also I think there's still a shame around HIV as well. Not saying that he has the shame because he's very open about his stuff, but for the most part, a lot of people don't want people knowing about, Robert F. Kennedy is going to be some child. Didn't they call him? Didn't they call him something else? It's not that was the secretary. I'm like, child, we all going to die. I don't know anybody that felt like this. I don't want them in charge of my health. I don't need them to. I don't need anybody that got a throat where it sounds like they got they swallow like 3 damn scrub buds. Talking about trying to keep me healthy. Kamala has called Trump to concede the election. Well, I remember hearing that she did call him, but now she has to do like the whole public situation, where she's got to do it on television. He needs to bring UNITY. But yeah, that's what I feel like. We could be optimistic in that way and think that he would, but that man is so damn petty. He don't have it in him. But like I said, he is the Trojan horse. So therefore, things are not gonna, it's not him that we need to worry about. It's the people that he's gonna put in the cabinets. And people, so it's literally President JD Vance that's going to be making all the decisions. Trump is going to be the mascot. My mom liked RFK, but Key Max said New York City now Trump won was how Trump was Latin and blacks were pissed about migration and migration wasn't checked by. Well, look, also we need to talk about the fact that that old cripple heifer from Texas, whenever because isn't the border and stuff over there in Texas, like Mexico border, like right next to each other? A lot of those migrants that came in through there, he shipped their ass on a bus and sent them to New York and other places. And then we had to just welcome them. And then they got pushed up in the hotels and all that other stuff. I would not want to be working in the hospitality business because if I had to deal with that, I'd be pissed off. The fact that it's like you trying to do your job, and this is no shade to the migrants. It's the fact of how the politicians are doing their dirty work and how they would just throw them off on other states, and then we'd have to deal with it. When it's just like, no, that you what the mess is over there in your situation, y'all need to clean that up. Why are we having to take y'all? Why are we having to clean up your mess? Why are we here with the broom and dustpan like we Molly the maid? So, um, the misinformation on that is also, an issue. College is a business, public school isn't. Yeah, it is. It's also a one big scam. Because it said this New York weather right now is becoming child. When I went outside, I literally went outside like this. I had this Puma shirt on, sweatpants, and my Jordans, and I went to the store and got me something to eat. And I'm like, damn, it's hot out here. So I was like, so I was just like, I'm like, it's warm outside. How is it November? November 6th, and it's damn near 80 degrees in New York. Climate change, it's 77 degrees right now. And I think that's the high for now. And then in the next hour, it's going to go down to 76. So I think the high is going to be 77. Okay, midterms is always 2026. So we'll see, like, if people wake up and y'all actually get out there and do what needs to be done. So Democrats, y'all got 2 years to get yourselves into gear and start getting people up and running, because y'all think that the most important election is always this election, but you got to worry about the midterms and all that other stuff as well. It can't be. No, we don't want Pete Booty Plug. It can't be Pete. He has to be someone that isn't too progressive, because that's not popular. Probably go to rural America, skip big cities, small towns, small. Well, look, it's like I do feel like that they need to work on all those places that's red is where they need to go in. And there was a lot of red on that map. That's where I gagged. I'm like, damn, why is there so much red? Like, you really see, like, the world, like, America is literally becoming more Republican, and I think a lot of people didn't realize that, or they didn't realize that, or maybe they just, ignored it. So they got to figure that out. He said, I saw that as a little bit, and I got that story coming up. Where that's why I said, that's why you think I refer to her yesterday as a flip flopping ass bitch, because that's what she do. I have a feeling they're going to try to get Tim Walz to be the nominee of 2028 Michelle Obama if Democrats are lucky. Were people really sold on Tim Walz though? I mean, yeah, he's like America's dad and all that other stuff, but I don't know if people were really that sold on him though. I don't know. He didn't really do all that well in the vice president debate. Go to podcasts, don't go for females. You got that. Men, men, men. We lost that vote a lot. Yeah, so not tampons. I can't tell you how many times I heard them say tampon Tim at the damn Trump rally. And I did cackle a little bit. I'm like, you know what? They are good with a slogan. I'll have to give y'all that. Y'all are so petty and immature, but y'all good with a slogan. It said, yes, Debbie Wasserman Schultz basically cheated, making Hillary the nominee, and then quit the next day. LMAO, the Dems cheat so much, 2016 and 2020. They shameless as at AF. What the hell? I can't read. They shameless AF, all tea, all shade. All tea, all shade, all pink lemonade. I didn't know that about that. I might have to look into that. You said that she basically cheated, making Hillary the nominee, and then quit. So you talking about, wait, is Debbie Wasserman wait. Oh no, I was thinking about something else. So never mind. Dems refuse to learn from their mistakes and fail to connect to the demographics. They desperately try to gain their votes. And also, like, that's why you think people were saying, I hate you, Cheryl, because you know what? I was literally thinking that in my head, and I'm gonna get to your comment in a second. So it said Dems refuse to learn from their mistakes. Absolutely, because it's like, you know what? When it was about that, they failed to connect to a demographic. I think that's exactly where the conversation comes, where people was like, y'all take the votes for granted. Y'all take the black vote for granted. You take the black woman vote for granted. The black women are the backbone of this country. Yes, would agree, but y'all got a real gagation yesterday when you saw that. Well, this morning when you saw that the polling thing, and it said 50% of white men and 50% of white women gave Trump the election. So clearly, white people out here are the driving force in regards of stuff, especially when it came to the presidency of the Republicans. Saying nothing isn't going to change and said you're going to support Israel, including the genocide of the Palestinians. She basically shot herself in the foot. Not the Megan Thee Stallion reference. And you had her twerking on stage at your in the middle of your in the beginning of your campaign. And now we using foot metaphors. But yeah, when she went on The View and basically was like, "Oh, I wouldn't change a thing. I wouldn't do anything different than what Biden's doing." And it's like America's mad at him over the fact that he's using our taxpaying dollars to go bomb Palestine. He's spending billions of dollars over there, but you wouldn't change a thing in your campaign because you feel like there's some loyalty inside your DNA. Yes, I'm referencing Kendrick Lamar. Because you feel like there's some loyalty in him making you the vice president. You're about to become the president of the United States. There has to be a way that you differentiate yourself, and he has to understand there's no shade, it's just politics. I got to do what I got to do for my campaign. You can't run your campaign based off the back of what someone else has done. You have to be able to differentiate yourself from your other opponent, as well as someone who's within your party. And when they were somebody they put country over party, you didn't really put the country over the party, because if you looked at them results, the country spoke, and the country is like they called BS on what y'all were running on. The Matrix, maybe the fear was going on. Child, you're gonna make me watch The Matrix today. He said MAGA is small, but the support for him didn't. Yeah, that's why I said this is why I said I hate you for this comment. Because I literally was thinking about this yesterday. I was like, if he wins, you think he gonna pardon Diddy? Because he's pardoning a lot of people. And he loved the murders and the racists. So I had to mumble that because of the algorithm. But it's like, okay. So he might actually do that. Yes, we do have to get united. Yeah, he might pardon the people of January 6th. I wouldn't be surprised. Special counsel Jack is stepping down. Take this poll. Which poll we talking about? And you said, Ollie, don't you know what a poll is? A poll, yeah, that's a poll. Okay. Not POLL, POLE is what I'm referring to. The ones you wrap your thighs around at the club. When is oh my God, that show with P Valley, when that coming back? Those are the type of polls I'm talking about. Kamala is not equipped to run, and it showed. Donald was clear on how he's going to tackle the economy, even though it was some kids' table surface BS on how he was going to run the economy. But nevertheless, he said something and got people to believe in it. He had a concept of a plan. I just wanted to say that. But so they said he's going to tackle the economy, illegals, and ending these wars. Kamala's campaign was more like activism. So, all right, Angela Davis. The only thing that was missing was her afro. And you said, I wonder if identity politics is over because gays want to be seen as individuals. People, well, look, they got the normal gay vote, apparently, according to J.D. Vance. He got the normal gay vote, whatever the hell that means. And people are more independent. The Never Trump they used actually pushed to wait, what? The Never Trump they used actually pushed to Trump because we sold the bad guy. It appealed to them. I was also that men viewed there were a real threat to masculinity. I read they were afraid to date because of Me Too. Made them go to Trump. There was something I saw on The View where they did like a Reddit thing. I think it was the other day that there was a woman that had some relations. I don't know what level of relationship that she had with the guy. I don't know if it was like somebody she met at a bar or somebody that she had known and they rekindled, whatever, because I just came in on the end of it. But there was a woman and a guy, they hunched, and post-coitus, she found out he was a Trump supporter. She got out of bed and left after that was done. She was like, mm-mm. So people are more divided than ever, especially when it comes to politics. I think back in the day it was different And people say, oh, yeah, it was different back then. I think probably because women didn't have as much rights then. You always felt like this whole idea of women have to vote the way their husbands did, that women did depend more on their husbands. Now they don't necessarily have to do that. There are a lot of women who are upstaging men in regards to like business and that sort of thing. So they really, we get these I don't need a man type of situation unless you just gonna dig their back out. And if they need to have children, there's always ways they can go about it, the IVF and all that stuff. Or they can go to, surrogate, that sort of thing. So when it comes down to it, so it's like, yeah, they said that I do feel like misogyny was on the line. That a lot of men were feeling like I'm tired of people making me feel lesser than because I'm a guy. And men, for the most part, are pretty simple. But I do feel like that they felt like their manhood was on the line. That's why they also voted for him. Round Bunny said, "Independent all the way. Throw your hands up at me." Kamala's campaign chair sent an email to the Washington Post and stated they only had 90 days to campaign and that they were obstacles that were largely out of their control. So what you trying to imply based over that? Not in a shape, I'm just asking. So it was like you said that there were obstacles that were largely out of their control. So you think that maybe what they were trying to do, because who owns the Washington Post? Is that what's that, the Wall Street Journal? I'm trying to think of Jeff Bezos. So you think they were trying to use the media as an influence to try to sway votes and to knock Trump down so that way they could win? So look, if we want to both sides in regards of like neither side definitely cares about the people. It was just the fact that Republicans had a better way of selling people a bunch of goods. And I know they probably all up in there like these dumbasses set up in here and just took what we gave them hook, line, and sinker, and the shit worked. It is what it is. So I actually have money. I'm better off than most people. As you should be. Well, look, D-Man says LOL. I mean, there was a lot of stuff that was said, so I don't know what the LOL basically means. But Onyx also said, every time I hear that Beyonce song, I'm going to be reminded of what Kamala was. Please, I'm never going to listen to Freedom any damn more because I was tired of hearing that damn song. Beyonce screeching over that damn song. Because she made it seem like we was all a bunch of damn, like this, it felt like a 3-month long season of Roots. That's what it felt like with her, freedom, freedom, I can't move. Freedom, cut me loose. Hey, hey. That's what I felt like. Every time I was like, can we retire this damn song already? I'm tired of hearing it. I want to know what the 50-50 state experiment is. I don't, because that sounds like something out of like Nazi Germany or some craziness. I hate to say it, but conservative version of Cosmopolitan praised Chapel Rome for not endorsing anybody and saying follow that lead. Yeah, that's why I said I like the fact that people kept it ambiguous, they minded their business. It's like you coming out and letting everybody know I'm supporting this because democracy is on the line. It's like you can vote for whoever you want to vote for. I'm not getting in the middle of it. Madonna kept quiet with her stuff. Who else? There was another one that, like we said earlier, Taylor Swift minding her business. She just focused on her man and that tour. RFK also have FDA and CDC. Child, we about to go. We about to die. He got taken over the CDC and he's working on the FDA. So a lot of stuff gonna get approved or get through, and then it's not gonna be. So y'all worrying about y'all health and the food that y'all gonna be putting in your bodies, and the fact that he's gonna be in charge of that with all them conspiracy theories that he had running around. We in danger. Joseph said, I'm still coming to terms with most of my neighbors being okay with R words and P words. Effing terrifying. Yeah, I don't get it either. Obama won the nomination after his speech at the 2004 DNC went viral. Nothing like that happened this year at the DNC. But I guess because she didn't have that Obama presence, which made it seem like, yeah, that's why they trotted him out more than usual. It almost made me think he was running. I'm sure told Netanyahu to have that war wrapped and put to bed by the time he hits the White House. Well, we'll see if that happens. Because, he all about trying to make him look good. We always get the big city. I love trans people, but we need to destroy the myth and show that the truth behind the misinformation. I was also told when she told 2 Christians to leave hurt her. Oh, you know what? And they brought that up at the rally. where they was basically saying that, oh, she told two Christians to leave the rally based off of their beliefs. Whatever. I'm like, they told her to. She told them to leave because they were heckling her. And yeah, that was a cute moment or whatever, and that was gonna be their moment of going viral. But um, I guess it did hurt her. And I said, that's how we got Wayne that damn pardon. Like I told you last night, I have a friend who I found out was a Trump supporter, and he called me the a P word and was calling me weird because I was saying, okay. So yeah, when you start saying that, when you start calling me when you start calling me names and all this other stuff, and it's like, yeah, we can't. If I can have a genuine conversation without the name calling, you call me the P word or an R word, because I have empathy for trans children, and I do feel bad for the trans community. I was watching a YouTube video, not a YouTube, Instagram video. Hope Giselle was up on there crying, but I was like, "Oh, girl, I love you, but I can't be up on here for this whole thing because you about to talk for a whole hour and some change on Instagram." And I was like, "I don't got the patience. I'm already feeling a ways." Trying to get all my emotions under control and trying to figure out and understand what's going on. I didn't want to sit up in here with people getting in their emotional bag and trying to take all that on. So yeah. But so I feel for the trans community. And then when I watched a little bit of Fag Talk last night with T.S. Madison and Craig, and they was getting in this whole doom and gloom. But I said, I got to turn this off. I had to turn on something to make me a little happy. So I turned on Drag Race. Then I had to rewatch Dracula because I fell asleep on it the night before. So I rewatched the last episode. Um, but yeah, so the whole I do feel for young trans kids who are who are dealing with identity, wanting to transition, that sort of thing, getting that health, healthcare to help them out. Also, how is what's going to happen going to affect trans people? But I guess we'll find that out when I read this article that I have after I get through everybody's comments, which we got a couple more left. I should do like a special thing where it's just like, send me some money because a bitch is broke. Like, send me some pointadas so that way, like when you do like the super chats or whatever the case is, which they do, I do have that on the YouTube channel. So if y'all want to donate to the collection plate, please and thank you. Um, oh wait, so now I'm gonna scroll back up to what some of the people were saying. So the one ad from Trump about Kamala giving prisoners exchange, well, yeah, that was a bunch of BS too. It's like nobody's going around and getting surgery and stuff. And he said that in the schools too. It's like, who going in with one gender and coming out another in schools and child and look, y'all better say goodbye to the education system because they're going after the Department of Education too. So we don't need that many people running it. So expect the world to get dumber. Fill in the blank, make America homosexual again. I don't know. Whatever y'all decide to put up in it. JD Vance do be giving normal gay. Okay. Then we said that. Look, shut up. Look, did I say he wear more makeup than a drag queen? You're making me calm and not so depressed. We need an outsider, so not some career politicians. Well, that's hopefully the goal. I'm trying to rub my energy off on y'all. Like for the most part, it's like, yeah, I was when I woke up, I was stressed out, I was disappointed, I was sad, I had all these different emotions. But I'm not going to sit up in here and just be all like, oh my God, the world's coming to an end, time, fire and brimstone. These crazies that run around stressed out all day with the stupidness that come out of their mouth. So I was just like, um, what can you do? This is the outcome. Now the only thing that we could do is look at what the issue is and try to make the world better. Make America better again. Maybe that's the what we need to put in there. This whole make America great, make America whatever. We need to make America better. Like we need to work on ourselves as human beings. I do feel like that. Yes, we need to hold our parties accountable for failing us as Americans. And it's easy to just be like, oh well, America's racist, America's this, America's that, and all those things. I'm sure is true, but we need to look at the bigger picture. Like, how can we make this world better, and how can we coexist with each other? Because the red wave is here and you ain't going and starting in January, that's when you're going to see it and you're going to feel it. I'm so glad I didn't have to go to work today because I really did not want to deal with people. So me having a day to process all this, I was even going to go to the. I didn't even look. I didn't even have the energy to want to work out. I didn't want to be around people. I didn't want to go to the gym. I don't want to deal with any of that. So I'll probably just feel better in another 24 hours. But today, I just need a day to process everything and process it, and let us all process it as a group. And so you don't have that guy on the docket that slept with all those women in Guinea, mostly was married. I ain't hear about that. I was like, I need to look into that. We in danger. Ain't that the MF true? It said, Molly, you in danger, girl. It said, we have long been sold the fantasy that Gen Z will change the world. Gen Z men voted like every other generation of men after years of being fed by podcasters and minorities. That's where a lot of them is getting their information from. And also we need to look at is that who are the parents of Gen Zers? Millennials and some Gen X. They're the parents of a lot of the Gen Z, so they're gonna vote like their parents, or they're gonna vote like whatever it is that they watch. Like I said, when you have, 18-year-old Barron Trump, who was his father's secret weapon, that was getting him to go on Joe Rogan and go on Logan Paul's show, or is it Jake Paul? One of them damn Pauls, go on all these bro podcasts, speaking to these constituents and speaking to that base. Kamala didn't even go on Joe Rogan's show. She didn't go on his show because he said that she wanted him to come to her rather than her flying out to Texas, which is where he does his show. And also, let's not also forget, who was the other one? There was a couple of people that is like she didn't get to go on. You thinking going on Charlemagne and then was going to be enough? You're already hitting the base of you're basically just speaking in so many ways to your people. Yeah, she did the Fox News interview and that was cute or whatever, but she should have been going in on those same shows. You should have sat down with Joe Rogan. Even though he's an irritation, a thorn in my ass, she should have went on Dr. Phil. He said the only reason why. That's why I said here another fake one. The reason why he went to the rally at Madison Square Garden and spoke was because he tried to get an interview with Kamala over 24 times, and she turned him down. So, Democrats, y'all, you future Democrats, and I feel like this is why we got to start looking. I don't know if it's. Well, I was gonna say, do we need to go younger? Maybe we need to, because a lot of these old people, y'all just out of touch. And Kamala is 60, so she is older. Maybe we need to look at somebody who's in their 30s or 40s that understands social media, that understand you need to be having these social media people out here that was pushing your campaign, those other stuff, because this is the generation now. It's kind of like when I talk about movies, where you look at why the theaters is failing. You can't make things for Gen Z. Gen Z don't go to the theater like millennials and I guess older millennials, some younger ones, and boomers and some um older younger millennials, maybe a little older Gen Z, that sort of thing. They're the ones going to the movies because we were raised on that. The younger generation were raised watching movies and stuff on a tablet and their phone. They're not trying to go to the theater. So you need to learn how do we speak to the next generation in this day and time? What is the new way that we can reach people? And having an 18-year-old for a son who was raised in the world of the matrix, the internet, and that sort of thing, he knows how to tap into those places. I don't think they have that on the Democratic side. He said Gen Z couldn't sign even at all. That's why the guy I was talking to was saying that he thinks kids are being forced to have sex changes. I'm not even going to establish on that because I feel like whatever decision a parent needs to make on their child should be an individual thing. So I'm not even going to sit up here and say that, you know what, maybe kids need to wait until they're old enough to make a decision. But it's like by that time, you already had your male hormone side come out, where men and women do have Adam's apples, is the fact that because of testosterone, ours protrude out more. So when we look, ours is more pointed, which is why I don't know how people didn't know that. We were all born with that situation. It's just the fact because of men, it comes out more because of the testosterone. But Who's it gonna say? Oh, so it's like when it comes down to the sex change situation, I do feel like it should be on a fan base. It should be on a basis of let parents decide what they're gonna do with their kids. People need to stay out of that situation because I can't be one to tell somebody, oh well, your kid needs to wait until they're of age. If they want to give their kid hormone blockers, or whatever the case is, have them in years of therapy, which is what happens when a lot of kids are going through the sex change. I mean, not sex change, when they're going through, you know, the idea of, first of all, being transgender starts in the mind before it starts anywhere else. I don't know why people always think that, yeah, one kid wakes up and want to, mommy, daddy, I'm trans. And then all of a sudden, okay, so let's go get you a new pussy tomorrow. Like, that's not how it works. There's a whole process that goes into that. It's like you got to do, you get things on it, you read about it, research it, then you find a doctor that understands that world. The kid goes through a couple of years of therapy until they get to the point of gender reassignment. I do believe that gender reassignment for a lot is a last resort. Unless you do get to a place where you're old enough. That's why I always say, like, listen to people like Hope Giselle, listen to people like T.S. Madison, listen to people like Angelica Ross and so many others who come out and speak on their experiences. So you understand where they're coming from with that. I knew Trump was going to win, LOL. That's why I'm not shocked or sad. I think I kind of knew it in my gut. He said that's why he said I was weird for defending it. I said it doesn't actually happen. And then you try to explain something to people and then they try to act like they know more. So it's like, okay, whatever. Then I'm pretty much arguing with a brick wall at this point. We really didn't see this coming. To think the biggest block of votes came from generational Kurt Cobain and Rage Against the Machine. Well, first of all, if people really listen to Rage Against the Machine was anti-establishment. So I don't even understand like how they voting for Trump when Zach De La Rocha and the rest of that band was against that sort of thing. Is that now President Trump shall order to investigate where Biden votes of more than 81 million of votes in 2020, while only around 70 million votes are really the winning number for president. Tyron says, I see it already. Just came to the store. I had a Lyft driver with his Cuban flag hanging on the mirror. Trump wins Latinos for Trump signs of every. Oh, that's all going to come out. Now with Trump being in office, you definitely going to see a lot more people feeling real bold about wearing their MAGA hats, their MAGA clothes, their MAGA flags. You're going to see a lot of that happening within the next couple of years because they feel like they got that Trump protection. I just feel like the energy has shifted in regards to that whole situation. Look up his name is Baltazar Ebang Ingunga. Why am I laughing at that? Ingunga. I kind of wanted to do that. And so and it also shows January 6th wasn't even important. At the end of the day, people got selective memory, have videos and everything online. Well, I look into it, people forget it was Trump who defeated ISIS. Was it? Baby boomers was Democrats, so my politics came from that. This also shows that Black people have no allies. I'm tired. I think Black folks are exhausted at this point. I read Obama scolding Black men for refusing to vote for. Oh yeah, that was another thing but in so many ways, it wasn't really a scolding, but I do feel like some people felt you just singled us out. Why aren't you going after? And you see what happened. Why aren't you going after the white men and the white women? Why aren't you going after them and telling them, oh yeah, y'all need to come out and support, and this is why, blah, blah, blah. When you look at the statistics, who was the ones that came out for Trump at the end of the day? White men and women. So yeah, I do feel like that they're what's the word? I feel like I was gonna say their anger, but anger is such a harsh word. I feel like that the way that they went about it, you pretty much went after the wrong demographic. You put it all up on Black people as, oh yeah, y'all need to come out and support your own, blah, 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 blah. And then you didn't go after the white folks. But that's what they were saying. It's like, yeah, you scolding Black men, but you're not scolding the white women and those white men because y'all think y'all got it in the bag with them. Because they sat up there and BS'd you and told you, oh yeah, we gonna vote for her. And then they got in the booth and they voted for him. Y'all better get condoms in Texas and Florida. You seen that thing about Cardi B where she put out, she said, this why y'all be getting hurricanes? I said, oh, girl, everything don't need to be on social media. Oh yeah, I saw this story yesterday that with the Daily Mail where they said Tom Morello of Rage Against the Machine did not support either of the two parties and said trolls accused him of supporting Harris, which he denied. So yeah, I saw that article yesterday as well that there was a big thing he was going, and then Rihanna was going back and forth with people on social media. She apparently does not have, she can't vote because she's not an American. But anyway, child, we are 2 hours into the show. We only did one topic. But look, the reason why was because, Donald Trump thing took precedent, not president. So let's get into this story. So Azealia Banks apparently went in and announced that she has new music coming out. Then she's wait, actually, no, let's not do that one because we had the political one. Then we'll get to the Azealia Banks one. So speaking of the LGBTs, as we talked about that, Drag Race queens are reacting to Trump's U.S. presidential election victory. And it says the following. So shout out to Pink News for this story. They said the presidential election on November 5th saw a convicted felon, Donald Trump, win a second term in the White House, prompting a wave of fears for the safety of LGBTQ plus people and other minority groups. Among America's current hot button issues are the treatment of trans people and queer performers, such as alumni of RuPaul's Drag Race have been taking to social media to air their fears and air stark warnings for Donald Trump and his supporters. Lux Noir London, a finalist on season 15 of the flagship franchise, issued a lengthy statement on Twitter, writing that the result was truly disheartening, but that the queer community haven't allowed adversity to stop us from fighting for what we believe in, and we shouldn't start now. So yeah, so she said the following, which I can literally hold on a second because I was like, I got the photo courtesy of the Twitter. And she said the following. She said, it's truly disheartening to see how much of the country is so backwards, but it's been that way forever. And look at how far we've come. We haven't allowed adversity to stop us from fighting for what we believe in, and we shouldn't start now. I think it's really important to breathe and take it day by day. It all really effing sucks, but these are not the cards we've been dealt, and but these are the cards we've been dealt, and we cannot let them define us or our existence. The fight isn't over. When life tries to block you with a wall, you put your boots on, lace them up tight, and kick that bitch down. Exactly. Remember Ronald Reagan said, tear down this wall? Well, speaking of which, when I was talking about Mehdi Hassan earlier, he basically said that, and then we'll get to the other Queen comments, he said Ronald Reagan was tougher on Israel than Joe Biden. That Joe Biden was weak on it, and I have that clip. Please hold.
Ronald Reagan pulled out of Lebanon, said, we're out of here. This is not our war when people died. There was a lot of pressure for him to stay. He said, we're leaving. See you later. Not only did he leave, when Begin was Israeli prime minister bombing Beirut, he rang him and said, Menachem, this is a Holocaust. H word. He said, this is a Holocaust. Can you imagine an American leader today accusing Netanyahu of a Holocaust? It would be the biggest, people would lose their minds. He rang him up. He said, it was a Holocaust. You need to stop this. And in 20 minutes, the prime minister of Israel stopped the bombing of Beirut. Joe Biden, and this was one of the great stains on his record forever, refused to do that for a year.
So what happened? What changed? I mean, what happened since 1980s to now?
It's a great question.
And I think it is the cancerous growth of AIPAC.
Absolutely. And that's why I said AIPAC is a huge problem, especially when it comes to, what's going on in this country, and especially their influence on, the funneling of money and the investing in politicians, especially in Kamala's campaign. So now season 14's Jasmine Kennedy, who came out as trans during an untucked episode of her season, wrote the following and said, to my trans community, wait, hold on. It's like, to my trans community, I'm sorry our country had failed us. I'm sorry that hate is deeply rooted in this country. Now, Trump spent most of his ad revenue on anti-trans ads, and it worked, unfortunately, but we must stick together, stay safe, and protect each other these next 4 years. Her season sister, Diabetes, or as I like to say, Diabetica, took to Twitter to say, what scares the F out of me is that we have people in this country that openly believe that it's okay to act like effing racist, homophobic, misogynistic lunatics with no consequences. But no, there's no consequences for him. There's going to be consequences for y'all. Now, Denali, who Drag Race fans might be seeing on their screens again soon rather than later, I was like, wait a minute, what's the tea on that? Because I did see, I forgot, All Stars 10, because that was the rumor that she's on All Stars 10. Wait, I was like, where did the article go? But I wanted to open that up and see what was being said. I was like, wait a minute, what did I forget something? I forgot she is one of the rumored members of All Stars 10. So, yeah, so Denali basically said the following. She said, I love you all. I'm so sorry. As well as retweeting the details of several crisis hotlines. So now All Stars 5 winner Shea Coulee, whose account is currently on private, called America a backwards ass country, while season 14's Bosco, who came out as trans after her season aired, wrote a desperate plea on the back of the results. So we can rightfully point out the flaws of a Democrat's campaign until we are blue in the face. But the fact is the Republicans ran an effing god-awful garbage campaign filled with nonstop controversies and a sundowning felon candidate, but still won. This is what America wanted. They used transphobia as a cornerstone for their campaign and won by millions. I can help but feel that the majority of citizens in this country are my literal enemy. And then Bosco put, girl, what? And then Joey J is gay wrote the following. It said UK Drag Race UK winners. She put, I was like, what did she put? Because it says Joey J is gay, and there's like a star or something or another. And so they said Drag Race UK winners of Vivian and Lawrence Cheney, because you better say it like that, also offered support with varying levels of expletives to their American sisters. The season 1 winner wrote, what a ish way to wake up. My heart goes out to all my friends and family in America who have to endure this for 4 years. Stay strong, stay safe. She said, so Joey J is gay, said, girl, what? Because it was taking a minute for the tweets to pop up in the situation. Season 1, so she basically wrote, stay strong, stay safe, while Lawrence added effing scum. Bob the drag queen jokingly blamed Mo Dang, who reportedly predicted Trump's win the day before, with season 13 got Mick writing a more serious take on the results. And also, Bob the drag queen posted something about Jill Stein that I saw that pissed people off. I think I screenshotted it too. Hold on while I pull that up. Because I was like, I don't think I've deleted it. Because I know it's in here somewhere. Okay, I did find it. But she goes by woke man in a dress. So she put, she doesn't actually have a plan, based on my Jill Stein, or desire to stop the genocide. She is paid for by Russia. I think some people were saying that was debunked or whatever the case is. They said her running mate is anti-trans and anti-abortion. She is unaccounted for campaign funds. She is dinner with Vladimir Putin as he invades Ukraine. Open your eyes, you're being played. So someone put Habibi, 35-year-old, put the following. They said the other two supporting genocide and want to continue funding it. What you are saying is the same rhetoric we hear every time there's a third party momentum. They are a plant or they will cause the election. There was a goddamn genocide funded. Well, it isn't. They didn't continue with it. So, woke man address. Well, Bob said, girl, shut up and don't follow. Stein is a paid Russian shill who has no desire to help the people of Palestine. She is using it to sway Democratic voters who aren't willing to do an ounce of research on her. She wants to pardon Trump and other insurrectionists. She is transphobic. She had stake in big oil and the XL pipeline. She had unaccounted for campaign funds. Just know that when you vote Jill Stein, you did nothing to help the people of Palestine. All you did was protect your own conscience. It's selfish and careless. Now click the unfollow button and kick rocks. So someone by the name of, hold on, because I'm like, why is this shit opening? They said Kamala and somebody commit genocide. That was the name they're going by. Because I lost the damn thing. Okay, so Kamala and Democrats commit genocide. That's what they're going by on Twitter. So gonna have to unfollow anyone who pretends to be an activist like Bob yet supports war criminals committing genocide is so effing fake. So out of touch is at Claude9 _ a Trump supporter too. Is her activist work since a teen all just a facade? And it goes on because it was like the whole thing wasn't there. It was like, Twitter, where they had to cut things off. So yeah, there was that. But let's get back with the queens on drag, from Drag Race had to say. Remember, we aren't going anywhere. Turn to each other. Contact your local LGBT centers for help when needed. Stay strong. There's always a way through. So we'll see if there's any pride events that's going to be happening, or we're going to have to use it for once, activism. Because once upon a time, y'all do remember that gay pride was an act of protest. That's how it started. So Candy Muse said the following. She said, I just don't understand. I don't get it. This country really is so effing backwards. Land of the free, my effing ass. How does he have that many supporters after everything he's done? Wow, that goes to show y'all have not been paying attention. But it is shocking that, after all the stuff on TV and everybody was saying one thing, that people went in the booth and voted different. So that's what the ultimate shock was, that it feels like a lot of people weren't being honest based off of, And so then they said there's the warning for Trump supporters too, not least from season 14 icon Cornbread. This is for Trump supporters and Trump supporters only. Everyone else can keep scrolling. Don't let that man being in office give you false confidence thinking you can walk around bothering folks like y'all superior. I keep something sharp under my wig, so keep it cute. And current reigning All-Stars winner Angeria Paris Van Michaels added, so the questions are, what's happening now? Will we as a community be safe? Will I still be able to do drag and have places to perform? Will everything that I have worked so hard to build be taken away? So yeah, these are genuine questions that I feel like that people have a right, I guess, to ask. Is that, are we, safer? Well, I wouldn't say safer, but like, I feel like a lot of people, especially the LGBTQ plus community, who are not in, as JD Vance would go, normal gays, the normal gay vote, they'll be fine because you're not out here with your obviousness, I guess we could say. But when it comes down to, okay, I got a gig to get to and I'm in drag, and I don't have time to sit up here and run somewhere to beat my face. So I'm in my whole geesh. And then I got to worry about being harassed. I got to worry about getting bashed. So is there going to be an uptick in bashings, particularly on gay people, and also the trans community have a lot to worry about too, especially the rise in trans, unalivings, which mainstream media doesn't even touch and talk about. I talk about it on this show, but they don't talk about it over there. So yeah, so those are some of the conversations that is going on and the overall thoughts and fears. So I say all this to say, what do y'all think of this story? Especially if you're a person who is of the LGBTQIA plus community, in regards of, I know a lot of people are stressing out, worrying about like what's going to happen, especially to queer people once Trump takes office again, especially with this new regime he's ushering in behind him, especially with Project 2025 and all that mess, the 900 plus pages that a lot of people didn't have time to read, but there's been people out here trying to tell y'all what's in it. So let me know what you guys think of this story in the comments down below. Sailor Mermaid says, like, we made 13% of the US population. What more do they want from us? But I'm gonna sit back and watch the same people who voted against the interest soon back. Yeah. Look, I always said some people gotta learn. And when your stuff gets taken, when you start to see your toys get taken away, you can't blame Biden when Trump's in office. So when things that y'all been taking for granted get taken away, we'll see how y'all feel. Remember, the Crumb was in Charlotte, 5 minutes away from me, crying about the loss. Let them fear us. Absolutely. And this is why I said y'all need to get resilient. You better keep a switchblade under y'all wigs. So what about the Muslims who had friends and families killed in Palestine and Lebanon? Are they wrong for not wanting to vote for a person who said they'll continue to support Israel? That's a good question. This is what I can't stand with liberals. Even if those votes for Jill Stein went to Kamala, she wasn't going to win. Off topic, but that one guy who always predicts the election correctly based off keys was wrong. Well, you know what? Everybody can't be happy all the time. I know. There was like, and he predicted Kamala was going to win, but it didn't happen. People was like, oh, I'm going to show y'all with these fake ass polls. Okay, so let's get into this broad. Who's up in here talking about she got a new album coming out, but then had the nerve to go in on Zayn and them. So remember, the broad went yesterday and said that she was going to be releasing new music. She mentioned that a couple of weeks ago while throwing shade at other people like Madonna and all the stuff. So, but she said that she's dropping new music in January of 2025. Now, I know probably most people don't care, but she also decided to trash Zayn Malik and Cardi B while promoting her music. And this is why I've always felt like she irritates me, because I'm like, you can't just do stuff and promote your stuff without having to dog other celebrities. So yeah, so back in 2016, she slammed former One Direction star Zayn Malik for copying her music video ideas for his hit Like I Would. Now I need to know, which video was it? Because I need to rewatch it and see if he did copy her ideas. You know, it's been a minute. Now, she did formally apologize to him for making homophobic and racist rants on social media, which she was banned from Twitter when she did that. It seemed like she recanted her words again. So, yes, so what it says on October 31st, she said, I effing lied and it was an extremely insincere apology. F Zayn. This is what she said on Halloween. Zayn will forever be a black girl wannabe. First, you're Jack and Azealia Banks. There he is again with his piss poor remake of SZA's Control album cover. He needs to just come out of the effing closet. This N-word is such a pointless non-addition to the music world. He effing sucks. Now, wielding similar allegations or accusations of copying toward fellow rapstress Cardi B in 2019, she made headlines for once branding the Bodak Yellow hitmaker cheap and dirty. Now, more recently, Azealia sent a fiery criticism against the Grammy winner for her stirring speech in support of Kamala Harris in Milwaukee on Friday. Said, yikes, that Cardi B Harris speech was eye-gougingly cringe. Cardi has to stop doing that stupid Latina shtick she does because it's forced and not real. One thing her and Nicki Minaj share is secret super intelligence masked by ridiculous chicken head antics. They are both super smart and well-spoken, but act R-word did to seem relatable. They deserve each other's friendship. Well, they not friendship, but that ain't all she said. Now, shout out to That Grape Juice for this story, by the way. It says specifically referencing parts of Cardi Harris' endorsing speech, which referred to Republican presidential candidate Donald Trump as Donnie Dump. Azealia, over a series of tweets, hopped to Twitter to defend the latter, her seeming candidate of choice. Now, if he claps back and calls her C-dump, dumpster butt, Cardi would be mad. And then she called her an effing coon. Now, at the time of this report, Zayn nor Cardi have responded to Banks. And you know, look, it seemed like every week there's a Cardi B story. Not a Cardi B story. Every time, it's like every week there's something about Azealia Banks coming out, reading somebody. Wait, what the hell's going on? This guy's talking about goodbye, I love you all. This is why I hate going on Twitter, because it's annoying. But anyway, so yeah, then she went and posted on her social media, well, on Twitter actually, but I think like I don't know is she even on Twitter? Like, I don't even know. But she at one point even posted something on social media where she showed her results of that she voted for Donald Trump. She had said yesterday when we talked about it that she was voting for Kamala Harris. Then she went on here and said, I lied, I'm voting for Trump. So she's an attention whore. She's annoying. And Azealia, you're tired through and delayed, and I hope this attention gets you something. But when you, I don't know, it's just, I'm just so over her shenanigans. So I say all this, say, what do y'all think of this story? Do y'all even care about this witch? And knowing that she another flip-flopping ass bitch and a grifter and just doing anything for clout and attention. So let me know what you guys think of this story in the comments down below. Now let's move on. Let's talk about the Grammys, because the Grammys is coming out with something brand new. And I guess some of you celebrities that's trying to get in them Grammy parties, y'all about to be tight, because y'all gonna have to pay to get up in them events. So the Recording Academy just let its members know via email of some changes, one of which will likely be unwelcome news to many. It will no longer provide complimentary tickets to its official Grammy afterparty to all current year nominees. So according to RHONJ, they're basically saying that in an email sent to Academy winners and seen by Billboard, the Recording Academy wrote the following. They said, with the evolution of the event, we unfortunately will no longer be able to provide complimentary tickets for nominees to the after party, nor will we be able to accommodate as many guests as we have in the past. However, we will still have a limited number of tickets available for purchase while supplies last. Be on the lookout for more information on ticket sales in November. Rest assured that while the event itself will be smaller, the experience promises not to be. The impact of the next generation of music people will be greater. Speaking of changes, it was just announced last week that the Grammys will have a new broadcast home in the near future. So starting in 2027, after 50 years, I believe, on CBS, the Grammys is heading over to ABC, and so you'll be able to watch it on ABC, Hulu, and Disney Plus. Because Disney is the home of ABC, Hulu, and a whole bunch of other stuff. So, with this being said, I don't know. Is the reason why they're possibly just doing a limited amount of tickets is because the record industry is getting smaller and smaller. It's like with the layoffs, and they're probably spending a lot of money renting out these places. And then it's like you're getting these one celebrities that want to have an entourage of 12 to get up in there. And it's like we have to be able to accommodate everybody, and we have to be able to, the event is not going to be like we got 5,000 people in here. Now it's just we judge it down to 2,000 people we can get in this room, or 1,200. So we have to keep the events intimate and a lot smaller because we're spending a lot of money on these places. And we don't, a lot of people, I guess, aren't showing up to these things. So I want to know really like a full report on what is the reason why they're no longer having as many people. So I want to look at let me look at the Billboard article, because I didn't look at that. So I'm like, why is that they downsized? So they said, according to the Billboard article, the Academy also announced that Grammy House will take place at Rolling Greens in LA again in 2025. It describes Grammy House as an immersive, accessible, and inclusive space for music makers, culture creators, and industry leaders on the rise. Designed to celebrate diverse voices and bring our community together, Grammy House is curated to honor and inspire over a 4-day period, and will offer an opportunity for members and others in our industry to meet, mingle, and celebrate during Grammy week. So we'll see how it all goes when it all happens. Child, I see UMG is suing people. Timbaland is standing with Suno. What the hell does Suno mean? I need to look into that to figure out what all that means. But anyway. So I say all this to say, what do y'all think of this story? Whatever your thoughts are on the Grammys now charging people to get up in the club, let me know in the comments down below. Okay, now speaking of Grammys and music, let's talk about Michael Jackson. So y'all heard that there's going to be a biopic coming out with Michael Jackson. I was like, yeah, we was getting a little political earlier, and that's lighting up the load. So yeah, Michael Jackson has a biopic that's supposed to be coming out. It's directed by Antoine Fuqua. Jaafar Jackson is playing his uncle Michael, and we've got a bunch of other celebrities in there. I believe Neil Long is playing Catherine, and we have Coleman Domingo fine behind playing Joe Jackson. So the movie was originally set to be released April 18th of 2025. But Lionsgate announced yesterday, that would be Tuesday, that the film will hit theaters months later on October 3rd, 2025, per The Hollywood Reporter. So the movie, as we said, Coleman Domingo, Neil Long is playing his parents. Running out the cast includes Miles Teller, Laura Harrier, Cat Graham. Remember Cat Graham? Where's she been from the Vampire Diaries? And she put out some music at one point. I believe she's playing Diana Ross. Lorenz Tate also. I believe Lorenz is playing Berry Gordy and Jessica Sula. So I have a feeling what's probably gonna happen at the end of that movie. They're probably gonna put they're going to probably dedicate it to Quincy Jones because, Quincy Jones just passed away over the weekend, and we talked about it on yesterday's show. So they said the film is expected to cover all aspects of Jackson's life and career, including his legal issues. Among them include the 1993 lawsuit he settled accusing him of SA of a child, which he eventually settled. He also faced trial in Santa Barbara, California in 2005 in connection with separate claims of child SA, of which he was acquitted. So, one of the things I was also saying, like, I don't particularly care for biopics, but I was like, unless y'all willing to go in and really dig deep and give us the tea behind, the celebrity, the good, the bad, and the ugly, then I don't want to see it. This is why I've had conversations with people. They said, I don't know if it's a good idea that while Madonna's alive that we should get a biopic, because she could be biased in regards of her own story because she's still alive. But then again, you would have to probably go through the Madonna estate to get approval of the things you want to talk about with her. So I don't know. I'm of two minds in regards to that. But in regards to Michael Jackson, I was like, what? I am looking forward to seeing this biopic. But now we got to wait damn near a whole year to see it. When I would have liked to have seen it in early 2025, but I guess they feel like maybe releasing it later on gives a chance for, Oscar nominations. Like maybe that's what they're doing that for. Let's push it, and then we can see we can get people nominated for an Oscar. So maybe that's why they're doing it. But here's the thing: I need to see a trailer or something or another, just so that way I can get in the whole vibe of wanting to see, the movie. Because I'm always, like I told you, I'm always on the fence when it comes to biopics. So they said that Michael is what's the other stuff that they were talking about? So Lionsgate, they said comedy Good Fortune, which stars Aziz Ansari, Seth Rogen, Keke Palmer, Sandra Oh, and Keanu Reeves will debut October 17th, 2025. Michael is garnering huge expectations from the studio. So they really believe in this film, and I feel like, they are looking to be Oscar contenders. So I think that will be the biggest movie we've ever had, said Lionsgate president of Worldwide Television Distribution, Jim Packer, while speaking at a symposium for Gabelli Media and Entertainment Symposium, according to the Hollywood Reporter. And here's the thing they got to worry about too. Like when it comes down to this whole thing, Lionsgate, y'all could definitely use a win right now because a lot of movies y'all been putting out has been flopping back to back. I think they had like 4 big flops this year. What was one of them? The Crow. That was one of them, big flop. So they put out a lot of movies that didn't really do well. So y'all could use a hit right now. And they're probably looking forward to The Ballerina being a hit for them, and then of course Michael and whatever other movies they have coming out. So they also said that Packer said that the hype was high for the forthcoming film, which is being directed by Antoine Fuqua. The buzz that we're getting every time a photo gets released is kind of crazy. Packer said of the motion picture, which comes on the heels of biopics about other musical icons such as Elvis Presley, Elton John, and Freddie Mercury. I didn't particularly care for the Freddie Mercury one. I'm not an Elvis fan because history and the rock and roll and how he was a alleged racist and all other stuff. But I will say this: Austin Butler's performance definitely sold me on the whole Elvis thing, and I've still never seen the Elton John biopic with the guy from that Matthew Vaughn movie that played him. Kingsman. I haven't seen that. Yeah, I haven't seen that film. I've seen Kingsman, but I haven't seen Taron Egerton. I was trying to remember his damn name. So they said, that Packer and Lionsgate are going to focus on intellectual property and produce and distribute film and TV projects. Jaafar, who is the son of Jermaine and Alejandra Genevieve Oziaza, that's a lot of mouth jaw work for me to say that name, has been busy in recent months with production on the motion picture. So I didn't even know Jermaine was behind it. He said he filmed scenes for the biopic last month in LA, recreating the iconic video for Thriller in May in downtown LA and in Encino, California in March. So they also were in regards of talking about the film and everything, because it was like, let me Move on to another photo. Let's leave it there. So they said a trailer for the film aired to strong reaction in April at CinemaCon in Vegas, Variety reported, as the preview was part of Lionsgate's showcase to movie theater owners. But that's what CinemaCon is. It's basically for like the movie theater owners to see like, okay, if the trailer is good enough or interesting enough for them to want to show the film in their theaters. So in the film, a voice attributed to that of his mother, Katherine Jackson, could be heard telling her son, there might be some people who think you're different, and that's going to make life a little harder for you. But you never were like anyone else, Michael. You have a very special light, so make that light shine into the world. Now, a video attributed to Michael Jackson is heard saying, when I'm not on stage, everything feels foreign to me. And that, sometimes in a way, especially if you're an artist, it's like, yeah, when the world is a POS, when you feel like the world's against you and people don't accept you or understand you, when I'm on that stage, that adrenaline rush, that, the people loving you and adoring you and shaking, just going crazy. This is my solace. This is my place where I feel complete. This is where I feel comfortable. And sometimes you don't want to let that go. Now, ahead of the cinematic showcase, the film's producer, Graham King, said the movie would be an inside look at the most prolific artists who ever lived, as there are elements of drama, intrigue, and emotional states. So, if y'all hyping all this other stuff, and then y'all also talking about how y'all gonna speak out on his legal issues, the 1993 lawsuit, and all that other stuff, then I'm here for it. I'm still side-eye because a lot of people talk a lot of mess, and then when the movie comes, I'm like, okay, y'all are basically just towing the line and not really going in and letting have the way we want you to. I'm not saying we need to see a scene of him allegedly having relations with a kid. Like, nobody wants to see that. But I really want, if y'all gonna come up in here and keep it real, you need to keep it real and not be biased. So that's why I don't like about a lot of things, especially, how I feel about Bohemian Rhapsody. I did not like that movie because I felt like y'all were trying to queer wash the fact that Freddie Mercury was a gay man. Y'all try to play it up like he was bisexual, but you played it in more of, he would just go and have a couple of trysts here and there, but he was mostly with a woman, and y'all played that whole situation up. And it's just like, because y'all wanted to be able to sell this movie in other places. So it felt more political than anything, rather than just some man who was an amazing talent who also happened to be gay, and how he deals with that in a straight world, especially when you're in the straight mainstream world, being a big rock star as the lead singer of Queen. So if y'all want to tell the stories, tell it all. But I just be feeling like I prefer the documentaries over the biopics, because biopics can be a little biased in situations. So I say all this to say, what do y'all think of this story? Are y'all excited to see this new Michael Jackson biopic? And are you upset that they delayed it by a year? So it is coming out next year. It's just coming out in October. And so we got to wait pretty much damn near a year to see this movie. So whatever your thoughts are, let me know in the comments down below. Damien says, and let's not get started with Rock. Oh, yeah. I didn't see Rocket Man. How was that? I heard people said they liked it, or maybe it was because the way they filmed it felt like more of this whole fantasy situation. Maybe I actually need to sit down and watch it. One of these days I'm going to watch it. I'm going to have to check the streaming services and see if it's up there. And it's like, yeah, maybe I just need to sit down and actually watch that movie and then come to my conclusion about it. I haven't seen it. I think maybe I just didn't watch it because it's Elton John and, his issues with Madonna and some of the stuff he said about her. I kind of was just like, F him. But I feel like, you know what? And then I guess also my trepidations about biopics, I've kind of just avoided a lot of them. But I'm like, you know what? I should watch it. Look, if I could sit through watching all them episodes of what's his name? Well, I didn't watch all of Dahmer. I had to stop at one point. I was like, okay, this almost feels like torture porn to me. But if I could sit through the Menendez thing and all these other shows, then I could sit and watch this movie. But anyway, let's move on and let's talk about Travis Kelce. Speaking of who's in a Ryan Murphy program, so Travis is addressing and sticking up for his older brother after his recent blow up on a spectator at the Penn State game, saying he knows that Jason basically has no hate in his heart. And I feel like based off of what had happened, I don't think that Jason Kelce is a homophobe. He was in the heat of the moment. He basically was mad at the guy for calling Travis the F word. And he was defending his brother and said, who's the F word now? And yeah, if we're going to be the moral police, we could sit up in here and say, oh yeah, it was wrong for him to say that. But when you're caught up in the moment and you basically was coming with your clapback after I smashed up your damn phone, it's like, you know what? Me, speaking for me as a homosexual, comfortable in his skin, I don't feel no ways about it. I'm not mad at him for what he said. Because sometimes y'all need to be cursed the F out. When y'all be out here poking the bear, you can't tell the bear how mad to get. So yeah, we can say, oh yeah, you should never say that word. And it's like, yeah, in a perfect world, yes. But at the end of the day, he's human. And so let's get into the article. So shout out to page 6 for this tea. The Kansas City Chiefs player addressed the scandal for the first time on Wednesday's New Heights podcast, saying you had some effing clown come up to you talking about your family, the tight end, who's 35, said, referencing the Pennsylvania State University student who told Jason over the weekend that Travis is a F word for dating Taylor Swift. Now, at the time, the retired Philadelphia Eagles player, who's 37, replied by repeatedly asking, who's the F word now, which I pretty much said to y'all. So Travis acknowledged you reacted in a way that was defending your family and you might have used some words that you regret using. However, he praised the sincere sibling for learning from the experience and owning it with an apology on ESPN Monday night. Well, I will say this. He owned up to what he said. He regretted what he said. And he said, you know what? It was a moment of weakness and I shouldn't have used that word. I shouldn't have fought hate with hate. But he didn't apologize for it. And because apology is, I'm sorry. But I love the idea that he acknowledged that, you know what? I should have used my better judgment and I was raised better than this. And I shouldn't have said that word. But I understood the situation. I understood why he said it. So I'm not mad at him over that. I always say context is everything when it comes to things. But we know how people get. I know people are so on eggshells, especially when it comes to when you say certain things and people feel like, oh, well, you can't say nothing now. They're trying to police what we can say, and all this other stuff, and wokeism and all that mess. And they weaponized the word woke and turned it into this dirty word. So he said, I know it's weighing on you, brother. He said, that ish sucks. You shouldn't feel this much. Everybody passing around the videos is going to make it a bigger situation than what it really is. You don't choose hate, Travis added. That's not who you are. Now, Jason doubled down on his regrets over the hateful footage at the start of the episode, saying he wants to stop talking about the really stupid situation from this moment on. But it's like, yeah, he addressed it. He addressed the situation. Now it's time to move on. We can move on from it. So the thing I regret the most is saying that word. To be honest with you, he told listeners of the effing ridiculous and over the line slur. While Jason wanted to throw that ish back in the fans' face because F him, the former athlete noted, I should say, now there's a video out there of him saying that word and it's not good for anybody, especially when you got people out here who edit things and want to take things out of context. He emphasized that the moment would have been a nothing burger if he had just kept walking. In Jason's initial apology for the viral video, he said, I'm not happy with anything that took place. I'm not proud of it. Now, while Swift, who's 34, has yet to publicly respond to the controversy, she was filmed hugging Jason at Travis's game against the Tampa Bay Buccaneers on Monday. She and the Super Bowl winner have, been dating since last summer, so they've been together for about a year and a half, just about. And look, I don't think that Taylor Swift has to come out and say anything. What does she need to speak on it for? Jason said what he said. He went on his podcast. He owned up to it. First of all, before that, he acknowledged it on ESPN. He gave his, acknowledging moment of weakness. He apologized of sorts and kept it moving. But of course, now you're going to be on a podcast with your brother Travis, who is the one who was called the word, the slur, and they're having a conversation on the show and they're addressing it there. That's why I said, they put a lot of media out of business in so many ways, or maybe not really, because the media, we pick it up and we talk about it. But I love the fact that he has a podcast where he could just speak on his situation and put it out there, and it is what it is. So, as I said before, I'm not speaking for the entire homosexual community, but I'll speak for me. I'm not that mad I'm not mad at all at Jason saying what he said. I understand because me, I'm all about the clapback. It's like, I'll give you a moment of restraint for as long as I can hold. And I can hold out for a pretty long time. I can take some torture. But when it gets to the point where it's like, okay, now you're getting on my nerves, and I'm about to, chop you in your damn throat. And then I'm gonna cuss your behind out. Like I'm good with I'm good with a clapback. So I could understand why he felt the way he felt. It's like you constantly taunting him, y'all surrounding him, you're just it's like, okay, you want to rise out of me. You want me to attack you because that's what y'all be doing. Y'all do this on purpose so that way you can get money out of me. And he had a moment of weakness. He's human. It's gonna happen. So in this situation, I give him a pass. And he said he learned his lesson. So I said, let's say, what do y'all think of this story? Whatever your thoughts are in regards of Travis and Jason speaking out about this situation that happened, the other day, over the weekend at Penn State. Let me know what you guys think of this story in the comments down below. Robert says, oh man, they got the normal gay guy vote and Anna is going to attack Jenk and say she was right. Who cares about that broad? I'm so over her. Okay, so now let's move on. Let's talk about James Van Der Beek, who is opening up about his cancer diagnosis. Now, we talked about this the other day, where I mentioned in passing that he had announced that he had cancer, that colorectal cancer. I'd never heard of that, but I know there's so many different forms of cancer. And he's like, I believe, 47 years old. So it's like, yeah, when y'all are at 40, the moment y'all hit 45, it is definitely important to get a colonoscopy. I feel like I need to start getting one because I feel like people are getting, even if you're not in your 40s, I've been hearing so many stories about people who get cancer earlier and earlier in life, like things, and I would not be surprised it's from like the foods that we eat. And when you got that idiot who's about to be taking over the FCC and the CDC and the LMNOP and all these other things, and they, food regulations and all this other stuff, and not checking certain things that y'all put in the food. But if you go to any other country, there's stuff that cannot be put in the pasta and all this other stuff. But in this country, is they put all kinds of stuff in our food and they don't even regulate it. Which I see why we got this huge obesity problem. A lot of people got a lot of sicknesses, ailments, they need canes, they need all this other mess. But when you're younger, I've noticed that a lot of things that they say that they find in older, like situations that happens to older people that are supposed to get these type of cancers, you're ending up with it younger and younger. So I feel like maybe people need to start getting prostate exams or rectal exams or whatever in their 30s, maybe even younger than that. So James Van Der Beek did mention that he had this colorectal cancer diagnosis. Colorectal. I kept some colorectal cancer. But they also said that in a follow-up on Instagram several hours later, he admitted that his exclusive statement to people is now not how he originally envisioned sharing the news, saying the following. Because I do have his IG post. Wait, hold on, because I went on his page. Way to go. Okay, here it is. So he said the following. Each year, approximately, I'm going to keep it on mute because I don't know if there's any music, and I don't want to take that chance. So it said each year, approximately 2 billion people around the world receive this diagnosis, and I'm one of them. There's no playbook on how to announce these things, because you put 2 in there, I had to add that. But I plan on talking about it at length with People magazine at some point soon to raise awareness and tell my story on my own terms. But that plan had to be altered earlier this morning when I was informed that a tabloid was going to run with the news. I've been dealing with this privately until now, getting treatment and dialing in my overall health with greater focus than ever before. I'm in a good place and feeling strong. It's been quite the It's been quite the initiation, and I'll tell you more about it when I'm ready. I'm probably going to need some damn glasses, which I've been avoiding trying to use glasses like the plague. So he basically went on to say, apologies to all the people in my life who he planned on telling himself. Nothing about this process has occurred on my preferred timeline, but we roll with it, taking each surprise as a signpost pointing us toward a greater destiny that we could have. So yeah, there was situations where he was gonna tell people at his own time, but of course the damn tabloids, he said, We roll with it, taking each surprise with a signpost pointing us toward a greater destiny than we would have discovered without divine intervention. Please know that my family and I deeply appreciate all the love and support. More to come. So, yeah, it's unfortunate that he could not deal with this privately and figure out a time that's like, yeah, there's a time that I'm trying to deal with this myself. I'm trying to process and go through this situation myself, my kids, my wife, privately. I believe he has 4 children. Maybe more than that. But it's like he's dealing with a lot of stuff where his immediate family is trying to come to terms with this. And then here go a greedy tabloid goes, oh, we got a story. We got to run with it because it's an exclusive and I'm going to make money. I understand he's a public figure, but you got to allow people to go through their things before y'all be so. Or maybe I'm the only one that has empathy or whatever. But it's like you were going to run with a story about his cancer diagnosis, freak the family out, and now he's got to get ahead of it and reveal this, which I know that people probably were going to be pissed off. I was like, well, damn, now we got this whole internet blast of you admitting your cancer diagnosis. Why couldn't you call us and tell us? Well, there was no time because I'm dealing with a lot of this stuff privately and I'm still processing a lot of stuff and going through some things. And you know, cancer is no joke. I've lost many of family members, including my grandmother, to cancer. So the chemo, all these other things that you're going through, I don't know necessarily what his situation is or like if he's doing chemo treatments or, you know, what kind of medications he's taking. How is it making him feel physically? So who has the time to get on the phone and just be having hours upon hours of conversations talking to family members about something personal that I'm going through medically? So now reps for Beek confirmed his diagnosis to Entertainment Weekly, but declined to comment further. They also said that he has opportunity to open up a bit further on it. Let me just leave that there. In December, as he has signed on to participate in The Real Full Monty, a 2-hour Fox special that will raise awareness for prostate, testicular, and colorectal cancer testing and research and end with a troupe of male celebrities performing a striptease. The men will push their limits with a series of curated challenges and also share personal stories about cancer's impact on their lives. Beek will be joined by Anthony Anderson from Blackish, Taye Diggs from All American, Tyler Posey from Teen Wolf, Bruno Tonioli from So You Think. Well, no, Bruno Tonioli is actually not from So You Think You Can Dance. He's from Dancing with the Stars. And the NFL's Chris Jones for the special slated to air on Monday, December 9th. And I think that's another thing, too. When we talk about men being forgotten about, this is another thing that I don't think we talk enough about. We don't talk enough about men and cancer. I've been seeing so many stories on social media and even on shows like The View. They talk about breast cancer. They want to talk about women's issues. And I get it. That's a show full with women. But where's the platform for or a place where we need to talk about men who are dealing with cancer as well? Cancer doesn't discriminate. So there needs to be outlets and things where we could bring this up too. And I'm glad that this is going to be an outlet where they're doing The Real Full Monty, where men can talk about their cancer diagnosis and use their ways for good and charity and that sort of thing. So shout out to James Van Beek. I'm glad he's out here working on himself and getting better and healthier. And so I want to say all this, and I ask you, what do you think of this story? Whatever your thoughts are on this story, let me know in the comments down below. Sitting there fidgeting with this damn microphone. Okay, so we have about what? How many? About 5 more topics. So if you have not already, if you can do me a solid and hit that like button and that subscribe button, also smash that notification button so that way you know when we go live with the brand new episode of Chris Avalon Unfiltered. It also helps with the algorithm, you know, pushing this episode and stuff out there in those streets, honey. So hold on, let me get adjusted because I was sliding down in this chair. Okay, so where are we? Okay, let's talk about Kanye, who y'all was talking about was hiding out in Japan, probably because you know he's been banned from America. Well, I don't think he hasn't been banned. He just staying out there because I believe that Japan is the only place he can get work. But apparently, the word on the curb is he's trying to sell a reality show that's about to send Kim, you know, about to have Kim Kardashian lose her damn mind, I guess I should say. So his idea could be Kim Kardashian's worst nightmare. They said he's pitching a new show, wanting his own notoriety in the world of reality TV. Didn't he hate being on reality TV when he was keeping up with the Kardashians? Now you want to do one? I guess when you're in a place of irrelevancy, if you believe this story out of the Mirror, that reality TV you feel like is going to rehabilitate your career. But this man says and does so many crazy things, it might make things worse. Excuse me. So according to the Mirror, it says fans will get a glimpse behind the scenes of his mysterious relationship with Bianca Censori if he has his way. The rapper is reportedly pitching the idea around right now and believes it will be quite successful. Saying Kanye has been talking about this for a while now. He's convinced that people would be totally drawn to them and it will be an instant hit. This is what an insider told In Touch Weekly. Plus, the possibility has the Kardashian family, including musician's ex-wife, quite concerned as it could rival their reality TV empire. Well, Chad, you over there on Hulu. Like, you are not hurting. I mean, quiet as it's kept. Is there anybody actually over on Hulu watching the Kardashians? I don't think the ratings are as great as they're trying to put out there. But if this is true, and I don't know if I believe it, but we'll entertain it, I don't think Kim is worried too much about it rivaling the TV empire. I think that maybe if this is true, she's more concerned with not being able to control the narrative because you cannot control Kanye. The rapper reportedly has been filming his life for years, meaning that he has plenty of material to work with, including potentially revealing clips of the Kardashians. The source says he's been recording everything with the ultimate plan of making a movie about his life, but he has now decided a TV show will be better since there'd really be no time limit. He has footage of everything imaginable, even getting his grills put in, and he's willing to put it all out there. As in, are those grills in his mouth actually like permanent? I wonder what his breath smell like. Probably horrible. He's already been secretly pitching TV people who are willing to throw down a huge check. Now, they also went on to say the following and said, it's really a worst case scenario situation for Chris and Kim. He's coming back to haunt them in their own stomping grounds, and inevitably he's going to pull them into the show, even if it's just him talking about them. But they do the same on their show, so why can't he do the same? And that's what I was saying. That is true. It's like, well, look, Kim and them are reality TV stars. And if that's your bread and butter of sorts, well, not really bread and butter, because who really makes money from reality TV shows anymore? Like, they're not making money like they did back in the 2010s when you was really making a good coin, in reality TV. Now it's like reality TV is a platform that you get to use to promote your business endeavors. And that's basically what they're using it for. On top of putting in these staged family situations and controlling the narrative in regards to certain things that's coming out. So why can't Kanye use that unless hopefully there's nothing in their vows or in their prenup that says that he can't spill personal tea about what's going on in his personal life and how he's navigating being a single father, as in he's no longer married to Kim, but he's with Bianca. And, there's been conversations about him and Bianca, are they actually married? Or are they just saying they're married, but there's no legal papers to state that they actually are legally binding? So they said more details on the potential production are still pending, but there's a chance he might even rope in his kids, north, south, east, and west. Now, it's not north, south, east, and west. It's North Chicago Satan Psalm. They're saying that he could get the kids involved, which of course would be Kim's worst nightmare. But there's not much she can do about it. They appear on her show, so she can't use that argument. And they adore their dad, so odds are they're going to want to be on his show. Especially that North, because y'all know Miss Northwest, she pretty much is a splitting image of her father in a lot of ways. She got a mouth on her too, because she be reading her mother, and that'd be funny when I be seeing some of the clips and stuff online. So if Kim does feature the kids on the Kardashians, why can't Kanye do the same with his children? But this is why, you need to be careful who y'all get in bed with and who you lay down with. And maybe Kim got with Kanye, and I truly believe this because she thought that she was going to get up in there with the elites, as in Beyonce and them. Y'all wanted to be kind of your own version of Jay-Z and Beyonce. And Beyonce wasn't really putting up with it. Yeah, y'all be seeing her out, and y'all, they being cordial for the sake of the media and hanging out in certain places. And yeah, she be at some of them events where they be in the same room. But as far as Beyonce and that whole thing, her and Jay got their thing. Kim thought she was gonna get that. She was gonna get in the rooms with, and he did put her in those rooms, as in like the world of fashion. Because remember, Anna Wintour was not here and seeing it for Kim. So her being in that room with them, that worked a little bit. And now she in there all on Vogue and all this other stuff and doing her little fashion stuff with her skims, and it's cute or whatever. And infiltrated so many other places that she wasn't able to infiltrate in before. So Kanye definitely helped with that. But now he's seen as sort of like got the scarlet air in his head. Don't nobody mess with him no more. Ever since he said what he said about Jewish people. And, he don't have a say. So now he's over there hiding out in Japan. He also said the famous mother also monitors her children's social media usage, even managing North's TikTok account. And we did see that didn't one of the kids, I don't forget whose kid it was, that recently came out with their own was it Kourtney Kardashian? Wait, no. No, it was Rob's child with Black China. That's who it was. That came out with their own social media page, and everybody was in an uproar about it. But they always had that from the beginning. I think like the parents was like, the minute these kids was born, yeah, we gonna have to buy up their name and get their Instagram and all that other stuff because people are gonna come up in here trying to claim a domain name. So they were smart on that part. So I say all this to say, what do y'all think of this story? Or would y'all be here to see a Kanye West reality TV show? Me personally, I wouldn't. I just feel like with the stuff that he said and all this other stuff, I'm not really interested in watching him ramble on about a bunch of stuff and talk about how much he's a god and a genius and all that foolishness. I don't have time. I'm not that interested in trying to see Kanye walking around with his Barbie doll with her titties down to her knees in them outfits where she don't have no support in them breasts. Like, I don't care about seeing all of that. So, but then again, if they did come out with a trailer tomorrow, I would check it out of curiosity. And we talk about it on the show. But as far as like me having to truly invest in a series, if I ain't keeping up with them Kardashians, what makes you think I want to keep up with Kanye and his shenanigans? So let me know what you guys think of this story in the comments down below. Driver seat says Kanye West has to face the feds. He needs to stay out of the country. Well, he probably is, especially with them SA allegations that's hitting him. Are you going to do a live reaction to Kamala's final remarks? Well, let me know when it's on. Because when it comes on, I might actually stream it. Hold on, let me go to the E2. Because I know like it'll be all the way over in there when it comes up. But I'm like, oh, and I see Perez Hilton posted something, why so many Latinos voted for Donald Trump. Even when he called y'all a floating island, well, he didn't. But even when they managed the whole floating island of garbage, I guess, people just did not care. Well, yeah, if I'm still online by the time this is over or whatever, I see a lot of people talking about Kayla says she's doing a first live stream on the channel at 7:15 Eastern Standard Time this evening. We'll be talking It's the End of the World. Come on with the dramatics. But and then I see Funky Don Nevo post. Look, a lot of people out here doing videos and this, that, and the other. So if it does come up where she does her live, I think I'll put the video up. I don't think we'll get in trouble because I feel like the world be watching, right? So, okay, so now let's get into this Real Housewives of New Jersey tea, since we on a whole reality TV bag. So Teresa Giudice is finally revealing why she washed her hands of her brother Joe and his wife Melissa Gorga. So you already know at this point, we don't even know what's going on with the upcoming season of The Real Housewives of New Jersey because the show is gonna they're talking about a complete reboot like New York, but I don't know anybody who watches New York. New York is boring right now. So once I got rid of like Dorinda and Luann and all of them, I just don't care about this new rebooted New York. As far as like Jersey goes, there needs to be something done. I feel like there are some people that are not going to be coming back. I do not feel Jen Aiden is coming back. She pretty much just shot herself in the foot in regards of getting a comeback because of a lot of the shenanigans she was doing behind the scenes, which is no different than what other people have been doing, like sharing screeners and stuff with media folk, as in like bloggers and things. People do it all the time. She was just very dumb the way she went about it. So, but as far as like Teresa goes, I'm still on the fence of like, okay, so we're over the whole Gorga versus Giudice situation. Like, I don't want them coming back if they're gonna be up in here fighting. But she's opening up about it. So now, while appearing on a recent episode of her podcast, Turning the Tables, the TV personality who's 52 shed light on their long-running family drama. And so I don't speak to my brother anymore and his wife, she told listeners. What family member comes on a show behind your back? I kept my mouth shut. There's a lot of things I could have said throughout the years. This is going on over 10 years. Now, ultimately, she claims him and her sister-in-law, 45, not coming to her wedding to her husband, Louis Ruelas, severed their relationship beyond repair. She said they were making all this stuff up like, why didn't you put me in the wedding? I didn't put my sister-in-law in the wedding, but I didn't put her in because I didn't want to because of all that she's done to me for the past 10 years, the mother of four said. And I've been waiting for the Lord. I was like, sis, you should have been said it. Just say like, you know what, for all the things that you've done to me behind the scenes, but Teresa likes to put on, certain stunts and shows or whatever when she's on camera. Because Louis even said something about, oh yeah, I'm not even giving them an invitation to the what is it, the engagement party, whatever. And then she had to hit him and be like, you're on camera. So she doesn't come across looking like she's being petty. But just own up to her and just be like, you know what? My brother and his wife have done some real shady mess to me behind the scenes. And I just felt like I've been hurt so many times. I don't want you in being a part of the most important part of my life. But then, of course, we could sit up here and also bring up the fact that there's skeevy things about Louis and people don't trust him and feel like he's using Teresa and he, has been spending up all her money and whatever allegations that you can come out in regards of her against him and that, that sort of thing. And when you say that the family members came on a show behind your back, I'm sure they was out here trying to campaign behind your back with Andy Cohen and them and trying to get on the show. But also, maybe you need to blame production because you can campaign all you want. You can audition to the cows come home, but if you don't have something to bring to the show, you're not getting on the show. So I do feel like because you had this estranged relationship with your brother, and that Teresa and Teresa and Melissa didn't get along, probably because who knows, maybe she felt Melissa was some sort of a threat because this pretty girl's coming in. I don't know what the reason is. Women can be real petty in a situation like another pretty girl coming against you and all this other stuff. They feel a kind of way. But you should probably bring production because they looked at it as, oh, look, there's a story here. And we've kind of, without thinking about it, I don't know if it was always intended for the Real Housewives of New Jersey to be just about family, thick as thieves, sticking together, that sort of thing. It just so happened that I had a lot of people on there that had families on the show. I don't know if that was the overall intention, but that whole, we're thick as thieves in that situation. Maybe what it was the fact that, like I do believe that production saw it as an opportunity. It's like, oh yeah, we got a storyline here. The fact of the matter was that storyline went on for too damn long. And it became a point of us fans watching the show. We were just uncomfortable watching siblings going at it. Now we can relate to the fact of like a brother and a sister not getting along and having some issues, whatever the case is. People have their family dynamics. But when that became the dominating factor to the point where it was uncomfortable for us to watch, then it was just like, okay, just take it out the group chat. Like it's not even comfortable to watch them more. And then they try to do this whole thing instead of vetting people and cleaning out. It was like, oh no, we're gonna bring everybody back, and then excuse me, and then we're just gonna not deal with the situation, and then we're just gonna film them separate, but have them come together in the finale, which of course everything came to a head. Teresa's cursing out Melissa, and then her and Margaret's getting into it, as in Teresa and Margaret, because she believes that Margaret's trying to destroy her family. And there may be some truth into that. Who knows? I mean, to be honest, I've heard some behind the scenes tea that, Margaret has done some shady stuff from people who have casted the Housewives shows. And told me something about Teresa too that I can't even mention because I don't think that's out there, but I'm gonna keep that to myself. So anyway, excuse me. So basically said, then I was like, let me just put her in. I was trying to do the right thing. And then she said no. I was like, oh my God, they're just doing this all for a storyline. So she basically said that, you know what, I didn't want you at my wedding at first, but now I'm gonna be the bigger person and put you in it. And then she felt like, well, you know what? But the way I looked at it from Melissa, she was like, well, if I wasn't an immediate thought that you didn't want me to be a part of the wedding, then you know what? Then I don't want to be a part of your situation. You're like, oh, I'm trying to be the bigger person. But it's like, no, just stand on business. If you don't want me in your wedding, just tell me, okay, I don't want you at my wedding. And this is why, because I feel like that you're not genuinely here for me. But I guess some people just aren't upfront with the feelings and the things that it is, when they don't want to hurt people's feelings, I guess. That's what it is. So then she's just like, no, I don't want to. I'm just gonna be the bigger person. I'm gonna be nice, and I'll just put you in my wedding. But I said, no, I don't want to do it now because you didn't think about me being in the beginning. And who knows? Maybe that was a thing that they were doing it for a storyline. To be honest, the Gorgas have no storyline. Melissa brings absolutely nothing to the show. You being pretty and all that stuff, that ain't enough. That's okay. Like, that ain't enough to keep people interested. The only reason why you still, like, to me, I feel like Joe should be is more of a housewife than Melissa is. And then I saw a recent video on the Daily Mail where Joe Gorga was doing I guess he's doing stand-up now, and started going in on his sister and the brother-in-law. And so I said, what are y'all doing? Like, I understand Teresa speaking on things based on her podcast, because that's what podcasts are for. You just air out your grievances. You talk about the things that a lot of people want to know. But when you're doing whole stand-up specials and doing things and using your whole relationship with your sister as a way to like tell jokes and don't, like, I just feel like that makes me uneasy in that situation. But she said after that, she ain't going back. She said, I'm tired of they ish. I'm not doing this anymore. I'm done. This is what she explained. I gave them over 10 years of chances. The drama even prevented Giudice and Melissa from filming season 14 of The Real Housewives of Jersey altogether. Now, in August, she stated that fans would never see her and Melissa on camera together again. And I feel like at this point, you know what, Bravo, y'all screwed up, because when y'all gave Teresa that belief that, you know what, she is the show, that y'all basically withheld the show for her while she would do her time in jail, well, prison, federal prison, just because y'all want to capture that moment of her getting out of prison on video. And then I think, what was it, that she went in first, and then when she got out, then Joe went in. So it was nice of them to offer them that grace that they could swap and do that sort of thing. And how she's an old school Italian, like, she puts the family first. She basically said, never go against the family. That's what she lives by. She thinks she in one of those mafioso films. She also said that she didn't forgive them because her parents were around. She did forgive them because her parents were around and she didn't want to hurt them. So she did it because, oh, you know what? I'm going to forgive you because my parents were upset that we're fighting, that we're not getting along, that how close they were. But maybe y'all need to, it'd be nice if they could actually go to therapy together and figure out why it is that, what went wrong in their relationship. Was there somebody who came between them? Was it Melissa that came between their relationship and why they can no longer do it? Or is it that it is some deep-rooted things that went on that has prevented them from being, close and all that other stuff? So they need to figure all that out. That's what y'all got to pay the therapist for. But yeah, she said that, I think this is what she was talking about. She was on Kelly Ripa's podcast when she brought all that up, when she was talking about don't go against the family, and why she decided to forgive her brother then. Now, the Live with Kelly and Mark host asked if the RHONJ that started the feud between Teresa and her brother and sister-in-law. if it was the show. She said, well, it was like a little jealousy about that I was on the show and they weren't. And it's like, this is my thing. And I could have sworn, see, this is why I said from the beginning, and I knew that's what it was. Because I said that from the beginning. I said, you know what? Teresa and Joe had their whatever. Teresa got on the show on her own accord. You know, she was like, nobody didn't know who Teresa, well, we didn't know who a lot of those girls were, but Teresa was a standout. And then watching her show, I know there had to be some jealousy and envy. It's funny how she has a store, Melissa, called Envy. And Teresa had her own. It's like, you know what? Finally, I got my own little thing, but I can just be, you know, it's putting me on the map. I'm getting to have opportunities, so on and so forth. So now, of course, because you're getting this fame and notoriety, there's going to be people that are jealous and want to be a part of that. So I do feel like that was what it was. And I do feel like Teresa was pissed when they got added to the show because she's like, this is my thing. This is the thing that I get to have separate from all the other family drama. So now you added them to my thing. But is it really your thing? Because at the end of the day, the producers get to be the ones that make the decision. But Teresa, at the end of once this show dries up and they decide, the new season, we don't want neither one of you back. We can't make a decision. Teresa can go and do what she need to do. Melissa can go do what she need to do. I feel like at the end of the day, people are going to go for Teresa more than anything because Teresa is entertaining. Teresa has given us a lot of iconic moments. Flipping the table, prostitution whore, is bitch better. Like she's had so many different iconic moments. Say what you want about her, but we got to keep it real on this show. So it's just like, at the end of the day, she's going to get those opportunities over a Melissa and a Joe. Look at her. She's on House of Villains right now, which I got to catch up on, by the way. So she said, it's like it would have been so beautiful for us to be a united front and show America and to show the world that instead of fighting like me, this is like disgraceful. Like to me, this is like disgraceful. I tell my daughters, I beg my daughters, I'm like, please always get along. That's the only thing I always ask for is I want you four to always love each other. And if somebody has something more than the other, you guys enjoy it. Teresa added, you should all be happy for each other and lift each other up, Meanwhile, there may be big changes in store for RHONJ. Annie did say that they are going to be zhuzhing things up. A lot of people are complaining that it's boring. They're tired of the fighting with everybody. The fact of how they said they wanted to see longtime star Melissa and Margaret jettisoned in favor of keeping Teresa. But Andy said there's going to be new changes coming to the show, and we'll see what those changes are. On one hand, I'm like, do I think that he's going to get rid of Teresa? Who knows? We'll have to see. But the thing with him is that, when you made these relationships with a lot of these women, what do you expect? Okay, so Sailor Mermaid says they're saying on Twitter that Trump allegedly cheated and Kamala wants a recount, but I'm not getting my hopes up. Okay, so Onyx says it has started. Hold on. Okay, she has her live. Now, please hold.
Good afternoon. Good afternoon. Good. Good afternoon, everyone. Good afternoon. Good afternoon. Good afternoon. Thank you all. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. So let me say, and I love you back. And I love you back. So let me say, my heart is full today. My heart is full today, full of gratitude, for the trust you have placed in me, full of love for our country and full of resolve. The outcome of this election is not what we wanted, not what we fought for, not what we voted for, but hear me when I say, the light of America's promise will always burn bright. As long as we never give up, and as long as we keep fighting. To my beloved Doug and our family, I love you so very much. To President Biden and Dr. Biden, thank you for your faith and support. To Governor Walz and the Walz family, I know your service to our nation will continue. And to my extraordinary team, to the volunteers who gave so much of themselves, to the poll workers and the local election officials, I thank you all. Look, I am so proud of the race we ran and the way we ran it. Over the 107 days of this campaign, we have been intentional about building community and building coalitions, bringing people together from every walk of life and background, united by love of country.
Dominate the rift with Opera GX. Install.
And we did it with the knowledge that we all have so much more in common than what separates us. Now, I know folks are feeling and experiencing a range of emotions right now. I get it. But we must accept the results of this election. Earlier today, I spoke with President-elect Trump and congratulated him on his victory. I also told him that we will help him and his team with their transition, and that we will engage in a peaceful transfer of power. A fundamental principle of American democracy is that when we lose an election, we accept the results. That principle, as much as any other, distinguishes democracy from monarchy or tyranny. And anyone who seeks the public trust must honor it. At the same time, in our nation, we owe loyalty not to a president or a party, but to the Constitution of the United States. And loyalty to our conscience and to our God. My allegiance to all three is why I am here to say, while I concede this election, I do not concede the fight that fueled this campaign. The fight for freedom, for opportunity, for fairness, and the dignity of all people. A fight for the ideals at the heart of our nation, the ideals that reflect America at our best. That is a fight I will never give up. I will never give up the fight for a future where Americans can pursue their dreams, ambitions, and aspirations, where the women of America have the freedom to make decisions about their own body and not have their government telling them what to do. We will never give up the fight to protect our schools and our streets from gun violence. And America, we will never give up the fight for our democracy, for the rule of law, for equal justice, and for the sacred idea that every one of us, no matter who we are or where we start out, has certain fundamental rights and freedoms that must be respected and upheld. And we will continue to wage this fight in the voting booth, in the courts, and in the public square. And we will also wage it in quieter ways, in how we live our lives, by treating one another with kindness and respect, by looking in the face of a stranger and seeing a neighbor, by always using our strength to lift people up, to fight for the dignity that all people deserve. The fight for our freedom will take hard work, but like I always say, we like hard work. Hard work is good work. Hard work can be joyful work. And the fight for our country is always worth it. It is always worth it. To the young people who are watching, it is, I love you. To the young people who are watching, it is okay to feel sad and disappointed, but please know it's going to be okay. On the campaign, I would often say, when we fight, we win. But here's the thing. Sometimes the fight takes a while. That doesn't mean we won't win. That doesn't mean we won't win. The important thing is don't ever give up. Don't ever give up. Don't ever stop trying to make the world a better place. You have power. You have power. And don't you ever listen when anyone tells you something is impossible because it has never been done before. You have the capacity to do extraordinary good in the world. And so to everyone who is watching, do not despair. This is not a time to throw up our hands. This is a time to roll up our sleeves. This is a time to organize, to mobilize, and to stay engaged for the sake of freedom and justice and the future that we all know we can build together. Look, many of you know I started out as a prosecutor, and throughout my career, I saw people at some of the worst times in their lives. People who had suffered great harm and great pain, and yet found within themselves the strength and the courage and the resolve to take the stand, to take a stand, to fight for justice, to fight for themselves, to fight for others. So let their courage be our inspiration. Let their determination be our charge. And I'll close with this. There's an adage an historian once called a law of history, true of every society across the ages. The adage is, only when it is dark enough can you see the stars. I know many people feel like we are entering a dark time, but for the benefit of us all, I hope that is not the case. But here's the thing, America, if it is, let us fill the sky with the light of a brilliant, brilliant billion of stars. The light of optimism, of faith, of truth, and service. HU. And may that work guide us, even in the face of setbacks, toward the extraordinary promise of the United States of America. I thank you all. May God bless you, and may God bless the United States of America. I thank you all.
All right, so there you have it. She gave her speech. It was a good speech. It was definitely very presidential, very diplomatic speech. There's nothing really I can add to it. It's just like, yeah, just that hope and all the other stuff. That's great. Now it's just at this point, lick your wounds. Everybody feels sad. Get your emotions, like work on them, get them out, all other stuff. But now, once after this, it's time to roll up the sleeves and get to work. And also, look, Biden, you have until the end of your term to get a lot of things written, signed, sealed, delivered, so that way there's protections for, us, Democrats, whatever, those people that help put your old ass in office, so that way they can't be eradicated or changed up by Trump, because he about to take the House and the damn Senate. So, did me. I was thinking about The Exorcist, said, hatred and racism won, unfortunately. All right, so we got, how many more topics we got? Three. We got 3 more topics, and then we're done with today's show. So that was good to have that speech situation thrown up in there, so to be a part of the show. That at least it got to happen in real time as it was happening. So I'm still like absorbing and taking that in. But it was good to see Kamala out there. She licked her wounds or whatever, put on her good. She could have put on her good shoes, put on her happy face, and gave a speech that needed to be given. I'm avoiding the Trumpism stuff because I'm not in the mood for the petty BS. I'm not like, just be happy that you won and try to at least be a better version, even though that might be, it's going to be a hard, pill to swallow, hard to ask from him who has an ego. So let's get into this Adam Lambert story, who is showing off his new svelte figure, even though we've kind of seen that he was been in great shape for a while now. I saw him at Fire Island over in what was it? July 4th. I went out there with Sailor Mermaid. We was hanging out that day, and we were eating, and he was, on the outdoor patio or whatever. And I looked and I saw this man with silver hair. And I'm like, is that Adam Lambert? And I seen the tattoos. I was like, that's him. And he was with a little entourage or whatever the case was. So, the gays was out and about in Fire Island. So yeah, so he's now showing off his figure. I know some of my friends saying they preferred the figure on the right. And when I looked at him, because I was like, I remember at one point, earlier part of the year, he was a big girl. And then, like, by the time the summer came around, I'm like, you kind of slimmed down awfully quick. And there's no way in hell the gym did all of that relatively quickly. Like, if you're doing stuff naturally for the gym, it takes a while for you to lose the weight. So yeah, he did have a little help losing weight. He was actually, they said that he dropped 60 pounds. So American Idol alum Adam Lambert showcased his slimmer figure in an eye-catching bold blue ensemble as he stopped by the Today Show in New York City on Tuesday, probably to promote Cabaret, because he is in that. So Lambert 42 appeared to be in high spirits and flashed a peace sign at the cameras. His leaner physique comes after he confirmed to fans in an Instagram Live in March, per Heavy, that he had been taking Mounjaro, a type 2 diabetes and weight loss medication, for about 8 months and therefore dropping 60 pounds. So yeah, he pretty much lost a lot of the weight by taking the drug. But he said that he was on Ozempic before he switched to Mounjaro. He says, I feel amazing. This is what he gushed to fans at the time. Now, while the medication helps him shed some pounds, he told fans he was originally prescribed Ozempic to help regulate his blood sugar. Because everybody automatically jumps to the Ozempic. But what people need to realize is that, yeah, you can use Ozempic, but Ozempic, I believe, comes with side effects. And not a lot of people can tolerate doing the whole, Ozempic. You know, not everybody can use that Ozempic. However, he said that the side effects from taking Ozempic were too intense to carry on with it, which is why he switched to Mounjaro, which is also the medication that Whoopi Goldberg switched to when she lost her weight. He said, when I switched to Mounjaro, a lot of those symptoms went away and I had hardly any side effects and I feel incredible. I feel better. I feel more confident. I feel like my actual body feels better. Like my digestive system feels more regulated. I need to look into the whole Mounjaro situation. Not that I need to well, as you can tell, I am a bigger guy, but that's all because I eat big on purpose. So that way I turn it all into like I do deadlifts and all that other stuff at the gym. I'm weightlifting, all that stuff. So I do that on purpose so that way I can have kind of like that footballer's build when in regards to my figure. Now, if I ever wanted to slim down and I need a little help, if I was at like 300 pounds, that sort of thing, and I needed the help and I was like at risk for like my BMI and diabetes and stuff, it's funny, whenever I go to the doctor or whatever, they always tell me like I'm healthy and I'm fine and all this other stuff. So I've never had any issues with weight, although there was a period back when I was younger that I did blow up. Because I was always a skinny kid. Like I had a big head, like I looked like a toothpick. So, but then it was like when I started eating and then doing MMA and then, bulking and doing the weights and all that other stuff. Cause I always like having like kind of like that bigger guy figure. But if I ever wanted to slim down, I'm like, Mounjaro, that sounds like much better because I wouldn't want to risk. Everybody automatically just thinks of Ozempic because that's the popular thing and it's an easier word to remember. But Mounjaro, I've definitely been hearing a lot about it and the fact that people, when they use it, there is no side effects. So then, that's probably a good thing. So he said that he even reportedly revealed his mental health improved so much that he was able to stop taking his antidepressants. So Mounjaro is definitely the key to weight loss. Not only that, but it also helps you with your mind, body, and spirit, and it helps you get off of those other medications. That's a good thing. But I think he's always struggled with his weight because in 2009 he told Sirius Radio that he weighed 250 pounds in high school. He said that creates some stuff, some body image stuff, some confidence issues. Now, of course, Lambert is far from the first celebrity to confess to using a weight loss drug. Last month, Fat Joe admitted he took Ozempic to help him lose 200 pounds. Now, just days earlier, actress Kathy Bates confirmed Ozempic helped her cut 20 pounds after she lost 80 by changing her diet. So she lost a total of 100 pounds. But if that can help you get to a place where you feel better physically and mentally, those clothes are so oversized on him. I don't know if I like that. I mean, the look is cute or whatever, but maybe it's intentional with the oversized. But yeah, I'm not feeling the pants and the boots. But Alan, you go off knees. But they said that Housewives of New Jersey star Jen Aiden, Tori Spelling, who already is a damn toothpick, what the hell she need Ozempic for, and Scott Disick are also among the dozens of stars who have turned to weight loss medication to help slim down. But I guess it's like to just keep it off and maintain it. But I don't know. I feel like if you don't need it, y'all should not be out here using it. And this is why some people saying like Ozempic is hard to find because y'all all out here using the damn drug. So I say all this to say, what do y'all think of this story? I mean, I kind of suspected, they said that he spoke about this in March. I must have missed that memo. But I've always kind of suspected that, yeah, when he slimmed down relatively quickly, I was like, you either went under the knife and had liposuction or you was on that Ozempic. And now he's confirmed that he did have a little help to lose the weight. And I always say, like, if there's something that's there to help you kickstart your weight loss journey, then I don't mind you having to go to a doctor and you using it. But just the maintaining of it all, it's like, yeah, I'm gonna be in the gym. I'm gonna definitely change my diet and all that other stuff. So putting in the work to maintain it is also important instead of just like, so do you take Mounjaro for the rest of your life and you end up like Christina Aguilera rail thing with people worrying about, you did a little too much? So let me know what you guys think of this story in the comments down below. Sailor Mermaid says, we'll have to wait till December when they finalize everything. She might still get it. You talking about that? You talking about Kamala? I'll be surprised if she does. It says still mad at. Who are you telling? It's like us getting the filing was no wait. You said $20-something. That food was more than that. I paid $60 for the both of us to eat. I paid a lot of money for the food. The food was not cheap out in Fire Island. So it's like, so yeah, it was. The food is no joke, but the food was good though. But yeah, it was like, y'all a little pricey out there, but I get it. It's like it's the summertime. Y'all are seasonal. You got to make your money while you can. It was a lot of eye candy, but it was like, y'all did the most. Now, speaking of eye candy and bodies, let's talk about Barry Keoghan, who is finally revealing that when you seen that murder on the dance floor scene at the end of Saltburn, with him dancing around the Saltburn mansion, he said that was all him, that there was no prosthetic that was used. But I kind of suspected that was. I was like, why would who would want to wear a prosthetic? Like looking at his peen, I was like, yeah, that's definitely all him. So he just made a big revelation, and he basically, on Monday's episode of the Louis Theroux podcast, Keoghan was asked about bearing it all at the end of the Emerald Fennell directed movie that was full of transgressive scenes, that shocked audiences. Theroux said that some people suspected that the 32-year-old Irish actor wore a prosthetic peen that enhanced his body for that role. But Keoghan quickly dispelled the myth, People reports. He responded, wait, enhance? Who said that? Continuing, no, wow. Now, Keoghan, who played Oliver Quick, a poor student obsessed with his wealthy classmate, played by Jacob Elordi, claimed that what viewers saw on screen while he danced naked through the mansion was all him. He said, it was all me, it was a thing that I didn't really bat an eyelid to, I would bat an eyelid if it didn't fit the story. And that's why I think it's a difference between European actors versus American actors. American actors want a whole I'm not doing that, I got a clause and blah, 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 and all this other mess. But Europeans like, okay, if it makes sense to the story, I don't mind doing it. And then on top of that, what the hell I need a prosthetic for? It's the same thing with Cooper Koch. Like, if you got a lot of meat between me down there, what the hell I need a prosthetic for? Mark Wahlberg needed one for that, that movie he does, I guess, because he's a Christian and, they'd be ashamed of trying to show their peen and stuff and don't want to be used against them. But people like Barry Keoghan, and you're going to see people like Cooper Koch is like, look, I ain't got nothing to hide. If it fits for the story, I'm gonna go there and I'm gonna do it. Teresa, I remember me and Emerald having the chats, and it started off with my clothes. She was like, we just need to make it a bit more ownership. He kind of got this mansion at the end. It's his space. And when you have that space, we all do it at home. We walk around naked. Do you know what I mean? Because we're comfy and this is our environment. Yeah, after all them stunts he pulled to get that place, I'd walk around it naked too, dancing a murder on the dance floor. The actor Barry Keoghan is open about his and they said on Mondays, wait, that's what I hate about stuff, because it's like they literally will repeat the same story up in there in it. But he said, yeah, we got to a place, my hesitation was the dancing. I don't like dancing, So that's what the issue was, where it was like he didn't mind the nudity, but he just minded the dancing part. So the Banshees of Inisherin star was more concerned about, it said, dancing his heart out to the Sophie Ellis Bextor track. And then Theroux joked, so they said maybe it's better if you're naked. And then Keoghan responded, yeah, we got to that place. My hesitation was the dancing. I don't like dancing. But the actor who was I thought it was kind of a fact that he's dating Sabrina Carpenter, said that it's easier to do things that make you uncomfortable when it's part of the character you're playing. If it's required, weirdly, when it's the character again, it's kind of a thing of when it's not you, you'll do it. But yeah, I don't like dancing. And it's like, yeah, I think I totally understand it, because there'd be things I don't like to do, but I'm like, if it's for certain situations, then I don't mind doing it. Like I've always been a little self-conscious about singing and stuff, but then sometimes I'll be on this show and I'll be singing and nobody so far has said, "Oh, don't say you sound horrible." I know I can carry a tune, but if I was decided to go and take vocal lessons, I could probably put out a little something. But look, there's people who got worse who can't even find a tune if you pointed to them on a map that got music out there. So I should be too hard on myself in that whole situation. But for the most part, with other people, it's like, yeah, when you are thinking of it in a place of like, okay, I'm a performer and this is what the character would be doing, then it's like, okay, I don't mind being naked because it's part of the character. I don't mind dancing because it's part of the character. Even though in real life, you'll see me up in the VIP section, just sitting down watching everybody having a good time. Because I prefer to do that. I prefer more of the lounge life than being up there dancing on the dance floor, unless I am so shit-faced drunk that I don't give a damn. So I can totally understand that when you psych yourself out as an actor, that, oh, well, this is the character. This is what they do. Like, don't be all, then you don't mind it as much. So shout out to you, Barry Keoghan. Sober was a very good movie. I thoroughly enjoyed it. And, that twist and all the other stuff and him dancing around the button. He had a cute little booty. And he ain't too shabby in between me down there either. So I say all this to say, what do y'all think of this story? Were some of y'all actually surprised to hear that, he was naked in that film? And well, not naked, you obviously saw it, but I'm saying like that wasn't a prosthetic. I don't know where that came from, but I was like, my thought, I'm like, yeah, that's him. I never believed that was a prosthetic for one moment. So let me know what you guys think of this story in the comments down below. You said, "Oh, that's right, my bad." Yeah, child, you remember that price when I saw it came out to 60. I was like, what? Like I was about to, but I was like, I can't be one of these Negroes that's out here at Fire Island, the upper echelon gays be hanging and trying to act like a cheapskate. So, so let's get into our final topic. Let's talk about the sweat tour. So I guess we can congratulate Troye Sivan and them for reportedly grossing 20. Oh wait, no, it's not that one. It's this one. Grossing reported 28 million across 22 shows. Now, I did want to pull the article from what's that site? I wanted to pull it from Billboard. However, Billboard, y'all done lost your damn mind when y'all thinking that I'm gonna sit up in here and pay or subscribe and pay a fee to read your article. I was like, oh hell no, I'm not. So why the hell would I pay for that? So I don't even know what was the cause of it, but I did see, from what people were asking the questions on Reddit, some people said touring is so expensive. I'm curious what the actual profit is. So they're saying like, was it more than 28 million or was it less than 28 million? That's what I'm interested in finding out. So another person said, I believe I've heard the ticket sales are not a substantial source of revenue for the vast majority of artists, but tours can pay off through promotion, merch sales, etc. Also, it's such a core part of the music scene that even if it's not directly profitable for a label, people are more likely to listen to contemporary artists they can hope to see live, so it's worth it for growth. Correct me if I'm wrong, though, anyone. Well, yeah, because I always wonder how do they turn a profit if they're not necessarily entirely selling out in other places versus like in New York, Charlie XCX and Troye Sivan definitely sold out their night. When you look at certain people, when we have also Dula Peep doing 4 nights next year in 2025 at Madison Square Garden. So her actually doing that, we'll see how well that does. Like we know, like she'll probably do maybe a night or two, but I'm not sure about the 4 nights. We'll have to see, or she'll have to release new music in the meantime until the Future Nostalgia Tour, comes in our direction. This, I was like, I don't know, I think I had a cut on my finger and it was like skin protruding, and I was trying to pull it off. But anyway. So they said as a gross, that seems low. That's 1.2 million per show. They were playing arenas, assuming 15K attendance. That's only $85 per ticket on average. Well, look at mathematician, you better break it on down. They said that's only $85 per ticket on average. Tickets were generally much more expensive than that. Yeah, they were, because I went on there on the night out of curiosity. I was looking at the prices, and it said in like the 200s, it was like $400 for a ticket. So it could be the resale that they were thinking about in regards of why it was cheaper. Because it's about $85 a ticket. Where? And then that was only at 1.2 million per show. That is relatively low compared to doing arena shows. And so some person said, Gump the Chump said, maybe the ticket prices were lower in the US, but the Toronto face price was at least $100 CDN to get in the door. Never mind reselling. But I just told you that I saw some tickets in the 200s. That's not even the 100s, the 200s that were $400. They also went on to ask some people, because I was like, let's just go with the Reddit commentary, because I wanted to read the article on Billboard, but y'all be out here thinking somebody going to spend money to come read articles that you have on your website. So some people was asking, wonder what the merch totals were. Another person said, FUCK, guess this is why we're not getting European tours. Oh, they're not giving they're not doing the sweat tour in Europe? I guess I never even paid attention to look at that. And I thought that Charlie and Troy did their show separate over in the UK and in other parts of the world, because Troy did do a separate tour. And I know Charlie was out doing a little tour here and there, but then they came together for a joint tour where they only did a couple of shows in the US. So I thought they were going to go other places. They said, I can't wait until Atlantic funds Charlie's Era's tour and we get to relive Brat Sweat as a segment. Well, I don't know if that's happening. So, yeah, people are fairly saying that's fairly low. Another person said, what? That can't be right. Surely it has to be more. If it's true, then that makes sense why they won't bring Sweat to more countries. Probably because they've lost more money than they've accumulated. Because it's like, yeah, if you only did 22 shows and you only accumulated $28 million, that is relatively low, especially when they're saying that 15,000 people, well, with the Garden, we've housed 20,000, so it depends on the arena, of 1.2 million per show. Maybe this is why what should have happened was Charlie and Troy should have done smaller venues, which I could have sworn Robert and I had that conversation. I don't think on the show, but possibly in private. They should have done the thing where they should have gone and did smaller venues. I do feel like what Charlie and Troy was doing, it could have worked at a Radio City, or it could have worked at a Roseland. If Roseland's still on, sometimes I be forgetting the Manhattan Center. I be forgetting what arenas and stuff we have. Or I could even gone as far to say, you could have did the theater at Madison Square Garden. We actually housed 5,000 people in the theater. That's good enough amount of people. You could have did multiple shows in New York. You could have did 2 or 3 nights in New York if you wanted to break even with, okay, so we do multiple nights here. You could, based on the demand, you could have just added a second night or whatever. And I think that would have totally worked for New York, doing the Brat tour at a smaller venue. So I think that's probably what needs to happen your next go round. I mean, I like Charlie and I'm glad for the Brat era getting her finally into the mainstream or whatever, but I really don't feel that the type of music that she was doing off that album was arena worthy. Like being in there in that arena, I was like, it's this whole Brat era, this whole raver type of situation, and you're a pop star doing rave music. This place is too ginormous and too grandiose for you to be doing this type of music in this type of venue. So you should have done smaller venues. I feel like y'all would have made a whole lot more money doing smaller spaces than big arenas. But that does sound pretty bad, where it's like only $28 million for just 22 shows across the US. So I said all that to say, what do y'all think of this story? Do you feel like there should have been made more money and all that other stuff in the Sweat Tour? Did you see the Sweat Tour? What did you think of the Sweat Tour? So whatever your thoughts are, let me know in the comments down below. All right, so now it looks like we are at the end of the show. I was on here for damn near 4 hours, but I understand like it was a lot going on and all this other good stuff. And I hope I helped ease you guys' mind in regards of the drama conflama and all the craziness that was going on, especially with this current election and everything's turning out now. A lot of people feel like this dark cloud, this doom and gloom, that people are not in the mood to be dealing with a lot of the BS of the Trump supporters, especially when I saw one friend on social media messaged, well, not even messaged, put in the comments, that he's not in the mood because somebody went and said, oh, something about, MAGA or Trump or whatever the case was when he came into work. And he was like, I had to excuse myself because I wasn't in the mood for the BS. So it's like, this is not, be happy that your candidate won, but let's not be so divisive in regards of the being petty, wanting to rub things in people's face. And I even say if Kamala won, don't, offer the same grace. Like, let's not throw things in people's face in regards of, oh yeah, my candidate won and Trump is going to, to jail and all. Like, we don't need all that right now. Like, this is a time where we as a people need to come together, really buckle down and get more involved in politics and understand that, a lot of things are at stake. But at the same time, you know what, Democrats, you brought this upon yourselves because y'all sat on your hands while they allowed the democracy to slowly slip through your fingers. So there's that. But I want to say thank you all for watching. Tune in next time for a brand new episode of Chris Avalon Unfiltered. If you have not already, can you please hit that like button and that subscribe button. Also smash that notification button so that way you know when we go live with a brand new episode of Chris Avalon Unfiltered. I want to thank all the people that came in the comments, good, bad, or indifferent, that gave their thoughts and everything in regards of our current election turnout and all that stuff, as well as commenting on all the other hot topics. So love you all for watching. Love you all for tuning in. Love you all for being in the comments. And until next time, you know the drill. Ciao, darlings.